We'll call the select board meeting for January 12th, 2026 to order. Scott Welch, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for December 22nd, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have discussion, Mr. Chairman. As we all know, Jim Lamy has passed. And whether you agreed with Jim or not, I think that we can all agree that no one has devoted more time to the town of Castleton than Jim Lamy. To me, his lasting legacy is going to be as an environmentalist that got the sewage pipes out of Lake Bombazine. That's a tremendous accomplishment. I believe he's going to have one more surprise environmentalist legacy too, but I'm not going to talk about that. But I think it would be fitting if we start the meeting with a moment of silence. We could bow our heads and give Jim a minute.
Could we also add Christine's husband?
And Christine's husband, who I don't know, but I've gotten to know Christine and I feel horrible for her.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for December 22nd, 2025.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. Page 2, down to the town clerk's vacancy. It's actually the last sentence. Discussion regarding take the "on" out of there. The question on the ballot to change to an appointed position, take "and" vacancy out rather than an elected position. Down further where we're approving a liquor license for Lakeside Country Store. Second line, approve a space needs to be put in there before second class liquor license. The top of page 3, is this still called the village school? I question that.
Where are we at talking?
Right here at the top of this is the village
I think they-
school. Is it
that's the-
recreation?
That's the title of the project,
Yeah,
I
the
believe.
title of the project, they named it way back when.
Oh, I thought they changed it, okay. Down a little further, application for highway safety improvement grant. This is asking, I'd like to know who's asking, or have it show who's asking.
Oh, yes.
And down to the fire department, the second line down at the end, the cost of a bunker gear has increased. You gotta add "a" in there. On select board comments and concerns, I think I'm a she, not a he.
Last time I talked to you, you considered yourself female, yes.
Okay, it says he.
You didn't change your pronouns?
No, I'm
Okay.
a she. And then, okay. On the last page, I made a motion to adjourn twice. I made a motion to adjourn and then we went in exit.
Oh, yeah, we just gotta
executive
pronounce that
session,
out.
And I adjourned again.
You're thorough.
At the same time.
She wanted to get out of there.
That's right. That's all I got.
Anything else?
Police department update, the second line, towards the end of that line, it says remove the mechanism from Creek Road and Staso Road, should put remove the speed mechanism, just so we know what it is. A couple lines down, Officer Avery Schneider is now officially full-time, having taken over Josh's position. We should probably put his last name there, I can't ever pronounce it. Piatek. Top of the second page, Bob Spalding asked if we could ask the town to get the required level. I think that should read, Bob Spalding asked if we could ask the other towns to get the required level.
Which one was that one, Rob?
Second line down on the second page, Bob Spalding asked if we could ask the town to get the required level. I think that would be the other towns.
What was I referring to that? I don't.
The certifications for the
They have
police
grade 2
officers,
officers and-
level 2 versus
Oh,
level
okay,
3.
okay.
When we send a grade 3 officer, we get
Yes.
burdened with the oversight and paperwork.
The last thing I got is page 4, right above purchase order for approval. RCO abstaining, explaining the project does not affect him, but does affect neighbors of his, and he feels he cannot make an unbiased decision. Just want that, they're not actually my neighbors, but everybody in town, I think we can consider neighbors of ours. So they're not directly my neighbors. Just so that's clear, because I don't live anywhere near there. That's it.
Anything else from Mark or Bob?
No.
I'm good.
Page 3, middle of the page, ML Harris made a motion to fix the truck completely. I think we should specify which truck.
That's what I was.
Page 3.
Yep.
Middle of the page. The motion to fix the truck, I think we should specify which truck. Page 3, Mike.
I know, I'm looking at, there it is.
Bull print. Right here.
Yeah, I don't recall which truck,
The
and I certainly
tandem
won't recall a year from now.
2015 tandem?
I don't recall which truck it was, actually. It's the
No,
one
it's a
that's,
single
That's a
axle.
single
It's a
Yeah.
single axle, it's the newer, the 2015 single axle.
yeah, can you specify that in the permanent version of the
I
minutes, please?
screwed up. I don't know why I can't keep that straight.
Because there's too many of
It was nice to know which truck. Anything else on the minutes?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Citizens' comments, items not on the agenda.
I have a comment.
Who, can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Nancy Field,
Okay, hi.
and I have a question about the town clerk's office.
Go ahead.
I have a petition pending with the Director of Property Valuation, and I'd like to know, with no town clerk, how is that going to proceed?
You mean as far as, is that what I would consider an appeal that's going through the appeals process? Or the,
Yes, and they go through the town clerk.
Yeah, that's moving.
what I'm led to believe.
that's moving forward in the town clerk's absence. I don't recall the gentleman's name who's administrating that in the state.
I don't remember his name either, but
But I'm on the email string, and the first 2 hearings are scheduled for the later part of January. I don't know if yours has come up in his docket yet, but there's a state person that's administrating this, and that will continue whether we have a town clerk or not, but we just appointed an interim town clerk, and we're rebuilding that staff. The former assistant has come back to help, so we're going to at least be able to function to some extent there, starting today. So it will go forward, Mrs. Field.
So then, you are monitoring anything that comes in regarding the tax appeals, and then I'll be notified?
Yes,
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Katie, do you have something?
Yeah, just a question. Should I come up here?
Yes, please. And you gotta tell us who you are, Katie.
Yep, Katie Culpo, Castleton, Sand Hill Road. I don't see it on the agenda, but at the prior meeting, there was a conversation about the Sand Hill Road petition language for the ballot. I was just wondering if there was any update or where that was at.
Yes, the attorney has given us language that we feel satisfies your petition and state statute. So we had that written by our town attorney, just to be sure that we got it right.
Okay,
And I've reviewed that language. It looks like it's appropriate. I don't think you would have a problem with it at all. But you're welcome to,
Everybody's got a copy. I handed it out to them. And
you're welcome to read it and provide
if I
any
got a
feedback.
copy, that'd be great. I know you had mentioned Meryl was gonna reach out to Bridget, and she's kind of
Yeah.
been waiting for a call or to get a
I
copy.
think it's all done. I don't know if Bridget's got a copy, but I do know that we're making every effort to get this right.
Okay, yep, that was her other,
I'll
that was her
mention to
other, but,
I'll mention it to Meryl.
okay, no, it's fine, and that, Bridget was questioning if Castleton Place should be put on it, because that was in the conveyance
think it's
posting as
in.
well, and I see it on there, yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for citizens' comments?
Mary Drogi and Brad on Zoom. Do you have any questions, citizens' comments, items not on the agenda?
I have nothing for public comment, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing, thank you.
Then we're going to move on to rec department update. I don't see Micah.
Dick, just one question. I had a follow-up from the last meeting. Do you want me to speak now, or is that on the agenda later?
Hang on a second, we have somebody talking.
For anybody at home, would you please mute?
Falcons' complete interview of John Harbaugh for head coaching.
There you go. Thank you.
He's interviewing Mike McDaniel.
Nope, you're unmuted again.
I'm sorry.
She's
All right,
still not
thank you.
muted.
Yeah, you're still not muted, Nancy, but we don't hear the background noise anymore. All right. I talked to Pete today, if that gentleman's asking about the riding of snowmobiles on Drake
Well, it's on
Road.
the agenda, too.
Yeah, but he's not here. Pete's not.
Okay. Well, we'll discuss it when it comes up on the agenda. That's scheduled for 8:25, but that's kind of a fluid, this is a fluid document, so it's on the agenda.
And Mike is not here?
I don't see Micah. So
Okay.
what's your pleasure, Mike? Do you want to skip that for now, work around it? Do you know if he's planning on being here?
I thought he was gonna be here at the building. But I don't know if he had something come up, but he didn't text me and let me know, but, I don't know if you have any questions I can bring back to him that he put in his report.
Well, I did look through this, and I thought it looked pretty straightforward. He seems to be on top of things. I really was struggling to read his recreation activity agreement. I probably could get a magnifying glass.
Yeah, we've been working through this, and along with, it's killing us, taking money down here for this open gym, because they come in with $10 or $20, and they only need to pay $5. We don't need change down here. So they walk away and say, I still want to play, and leave us $20. And so I just told the staff today, I said, no more cash at the building down here. If they want to pay cash, they go to the town office and we process it through there. So it's really causing a lot of hassles with our protection of the money, because there's no safe or anything down here, and it really puts the employee and our team member at a disadvantage with, securing it. So I told him if he runs into that situation, to put it in an envelope, seal it, and put it in the drop box. At least it's out of his hand and it's in the drop box. But
There's an online option for that, right?
there's online for paying with a credit card or debit card, and they can pay by check. But it was a drop-in kind of thing, and there was nothing put out in the public's defense. There was nothing put out saying, show up with exact change only. So we're gonna have to work through this, but,
Well, it's a learning process for Micah, and it seems like he's making progress every month.
oh yeah, he's making lots of progress. Cause I'm the clearinghouse for most of it, so, he's busy, I can tell you that. Whether he's making everybody's a friend or not, I can't tell you that, but, he's working hard to get procedures and processes in place and getting the word out to the public, and so.
I have a question on the, is that,
What page you on?
it's for graph?
Okay.
For
Okay.
graph. Are you telling me that 70% is non-Castleton people? I can't tell you.
Other way.
No, the other way around. So that's the darker one,
Oh.
so that's that part.
It's just because that was circled around
Yeah.
it, I wasn't sure. Okay.
We did it on purpose, just so you,
Yeah, just wanted me to ask a question,
Yeah.
I know.
I looked at it online and I thought that it was 73% non-residents, to be perfectly honest with you.
So are you sure about that, Mike?
no, I'm not sure about it. I'm just, to me, looking at that,
Yeah, I thought, because the one online was actually color coordinated, and I thought that, or at least in the email that we got,
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that it was 73% non-residents.
which wouldn't be shocking, to be quite honest with you. But I'll find out before the end of the meeting, I'll let you know, but, because I can get to my email through my phone.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that we have smiling faces in the building, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it grew. It started off with 3 people and it's grown, so that's positive.
Is anything else with the rec department update at this point from the board or the town manager?
Yeah.
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
If Micah comes in, we'll let him do his spiel, but otherwise, we're gonna move on.
Just a quick question on that before we move on.
Certainly.
Financial numbers, Mike, are you gonna provide those, or is the rec department gonna provide those, or versus income?
The income he's working on with Christine,
Okay.
so getting.
Mike, you're talking about
Micah,
Micah.
they're pulling stuff out of HayGov, to, export to Excel and be able to do that, but Christine's not out in today, but
No, I
I'm not sure where
understand.
they're at with it. But what was the second part of that?
Well, just, expenses versus revenue.
Yeah, I can give you the expenses on the, can you wait to the next meeting?
Well, yeah, I want them before the February 19th
Oh,
town meeting.
okay.
Definitely before that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, that might come up.
So just so the board's aware, so I will do what we did last year and the year before, is you'll get a separate sheet with the revenues, separate, so people can see the revenues and what the department is for those revenues. And you'd
I
ask,
specifically wanted it on the rec department building.
okay, yeah, I can do that. I might have to help them along with it, but we can get it done.
Anything more on rec department? We're gonna move on to highway department. I don't see the foreman on Zoom. Oh, foreman is on Zoom.
On Zoom, yeah.
Forgive me. Jeff, you're up.
Good evening.
Good evening, Jeff.
You guys all have a copy of the report?
Yep.
We do.
Yeah, they got the revised one.
Most of it's pretty self-explainable. Are there anything that questions or anything that stands out? For you guys, we're going to the 6,500 it's fixed. It's getting picked up tomorrow, so I guess we'll see later this week how they did. Evan's putting stuff back together slowly. The trackless is back from Joe Johnson. We're using it to do sidewalks. It'll still function for plowing and sanding without the PTO. Wood chipper trailer hasn't changed. Grant funded projects. No CDL license changes. Salt would be the one thing that got hit with some of those storms, especially the ice. I have already spoken with Heath and the PD, and I talked to Mike earlier about really limiting our timeout from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. unless it's truly for an emergency service, and not just having us out burning overtime and material to only to come in at 4 in the morning and essentially be at square one again. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. No roads are really getting repaired right now. The OSHA 10 course was completed by the town employees. And the South Street Trestle, I believe that is going to be discussed. So we can circle back around with that discussion. I can shed some light on, I don't know if Josh is in there. He said he was going to be in there.
That's me. I'm here, Jeff.
There is the Crystal Haven Stormwater Project. Mike and I are still need to go over a few things before we can finalize and release a bid packet.
Any questions for Jeff?
I have a few.
Go ahead, Mark.
Back on the first page, Jeff, 2013 single axle dump truck waiting on wheel studs.
Yes.
What's up with that? That's a full-size single axle international truck?
Yes.
And what happened with the wheel studs?
They popped, Evan took it apart. The chains apparently do a number on the air brakes, and he took it apart to replace the air brake, and some of the studs were busted, so he pulled it off and he's replacing them all.
Okay. And then the 2019, you're still waiting on bed chain?
Bed chain has arrived, and he started it today, and we'll have it wrapped up tomorrow.
Okay, no progress on the 2013?
No, it's parked outside. He put a new motor on it, and it did not, and the bed chain is still creeping.
Okay.
So we decided to put the ones back together that he doesn't have to troubleshoot, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So we have functioning trucks, and then he'll tackle that one, when he can.
Okay. I don't want to get too far off in the weeds, but it seems like some of these trucks were not ready for the winter. And I hope we can discuss that over the summer so we don't run into this situation in the fall. I don't see the excavator on here.
Nope, it's not.
Okay.
Yep, I can add that. That's up in the pit right now.
Okay. So there was a little bit of talk that the undercarriage may have been rusty. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay. I'll stop out sometime and talk to you about that.
All right. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about it a little bit, and but all I know is it has 8,000 hours, I think, on it or so in the ballpark, and it's starting to show a little bit of wear. It brought something up, but I know Evan's aware of it. I just don't know the extent.
Okay, I'll come out and talk to you. I just want to make sure that whatever that needs to be fully functional for the summer season, we get done before summer season.
All right, that sounds good.
I have no other questions.
Anyone else?
Yeah, one quick question. Will that stormwater bid be posted online someplace that I could read it, or?
It'll be on the website.
So when it gets put together, they go online on the Mike. Where do they go? The town website, and where else?
Social media, but it'll go in the paper and on the bid tab on the town website.
Thank you.
Jeff, did you say that we could sand with the trackless without the PTO?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sweet.
So is the trackless a V plow or just a straight plow?
We don't even have a V plow. We only have straight plows for the Bobcat and for the trackless.
Okay.
I think I did include some stuff on the V plow. I sent it out. We got a quote from Salem Farm Supply. It was like $7,600.
I saw the quote.
Yeah. We haven't got it back to you to bring it before the select board at this point, because we're still trying
Does
to
that
figure
work
out.
on both machines or just the skid steer?
It'll work on both.
Okay.
One of the things I had, under salt, Jeff, and sorry, I should have asked this earlier, I just noticed it. The road salt inventory, we ordered we got all 1,000 delivered, right?
Yes,
And we had like somewhere between 200 and 400 that was moved from Ruby's.
yes,
So we really started off with somewhere around 12 to 1,400.
correct.
And we're down to around 400 now?
No, we're probably down to approximately 800, I would say. We're not down to 400 tons left.
All right. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else on highway?
Well, thanks, Jeff.
Anybody else?
Yep.
I'm good.
Then we're gonna circle back briefly. Micah, we went through the, report briefly. There were no, so I don't necessarily want you to go back through the whole report again. We read it briefly. There was a little bit of discussion, and jump in with anything I forget. This graph was, the majority was resident or non-resident?
For open gym?
Correct.
I believe mostly resident.
Mostly resident, that's what I thought, but.
Yeah, sorry, I was on the smaller side.
And at some point in time, can you provide myself and perhaps the rest of the board with a proposed facility agreement that's big enough to read?
I actually have copies for you guys.
Okay, that'd be great.
That was just more of a place marker for me to put in there to talk about it, but I have copies
Well,
of that.
we didn't talk about that much, Mike, right? You know, so if you want to talk about that briefly, and then
Yeah,
we'll
let me
move on.
just pull up my notes on that. Give me 1 second.
Is there any other questions for Micah on the rest of the report?
So he did confirm that the light gray is resident and not,
Correct. Yes, he did.
and not non-resident?
Yeah, sorry, that was so small. Used to. So, all right. And I can give everybody copies of these at the end if you guys want. So, let's see. Okay, so the Castleton Recreation and Activity Agreement. What this comes down to is that people are coming interested in running programming through us, and we want to have some kind of more legal document that we can write down what they're proposing for us to do, what they would like to offer for programming, and kind of giving those kind of more nuts and bolts that when we go also into the registration software in the future, and also HAGov, we kind of know some background on it. So going through it, on the first page, we're just kind of going over the program title on it and a brief description of it. What outcomes we're really looking for. This comes from my therapeutic rec background, that we don't want to just have programs that are just fun in nature. Like, we can have some programs here and there on the fun side, but we want to make sure that we're actually teaching people skills that can also be transferable, such as I was just down in basketball, and a lot of these players are used to playing football, and we're really teaching through youth sports about keeping our composure. It's okay to lose. So we want to try to outline some of those other outcomes, if they have any, for those programs, when and where it will take place, and the age and skill level for those programs. And then the second part of it is enrollment requirements, looking at the minimum and maximum number of people for the program. And what this comes down to is, currently my formula to determine programming is looking at all the costs affiliated with the program, and then dividing by the number of people that we want for the minimum, and then trying to round that number up. So if it comes out to being $35 per person to run, we might kind of jump it up to 40. And that's one thing I'm kind of interested in getting the select board's opinion on is how much of those kind of increase from what it costs to break even with the program, then to how much more do we want to increase it to be able to kind of cover more of those hidden costs, like the building, electrical, kind of growth for the department. So that's what the minimum and maximum on there is for. And then going over, are these contractors at the end, are they charging us per person, or are they going to charge us a flat rate no matter how many people sign up? And if we don't reach that minimum number of people, we would look at making amendments to the program. And then just kind of your nitty gritty of what the instructor agrees to, and then what we agree to as well. And then
looking at, making sure they have insurance on it, on things, and then, just signatures on here, on there. And then ultimately, another thing I'm looking for the select board's thoughts on is, we have we have now, if we had the number of what they're looking to charge, how much more are we looking to exceed the cost of how much they're looking? So if the contractor is gonna charge us $100 per person for a multi-week program, are we looking to charge 105, 110? What is kind of that more kind of finite number of an increase that we're looking for the programming? And again, I can give you.
I'm not sure if everybody's following what you're saying when you say charge us. Everybody, so if, say, a magic show, he wants to have a magic show, and to bring it in, the person said, I can do it for whatever amount of money.
Yep.
And so, we're paying the contractor, and then we recover the cost, through the fees that they pay, which is different than how we've been doing business, totally. So I just wanted to make sure that people were on, when you were saying you're charging us, I was like, I wonder what people are thinking.
And I can give a more finite example of that. I have a STEM program that's looking to use the science room potentially over the summer, and they're charging, I think it's like $300 or something for us. Now, how much more are we looking to then increase that? That's then recreation makes some revenue for it, so it's not just a break even. Or are we saying that we want programs to break even?
Well, we've talked a lot about that. There's a balance between, we need to offset some of the expenses of this building, so they don't lie. All those expenses don't go to taxpayers who don't use the building. Certainly, it's a community asset that benefits everyone. If every taxpayer used this facility, we probably wouldn't have to charge anything. They'd all say, we'll just put $10 a year on our property tax because we use it. But that's not the way it is. Some people don't use it, so it's not fair for us to put all the operating expenses on them. I don't have the magic formula for that, and I think that's going to be soft science for you to determine. I know you've only been here a couple months, and it's a work in progress. I always like to say that we're flying this airplane while we build it, and I'm not giving you much guidance there. I get that. But we want to get we want to make the programs as affordable as they can possibly be, and offset, our goal has always been offset half of the expenses of this building. $50,000 a year was the number that we were looking to start at. And at the end of that, we could regroup and say, what's the opportunity here? We're not trying to make $300,000, because that would price all these programs out of affordability. And we want to make sure that everyone in town can afford to come here and have these programs for kids, for adults, for seniors, for everybody. So that's going to be your project, I think, that you've got to find that place. And we'll talk about it at the informational town meeting, and hopefully we'll have a lot of people there and we'll get some feedback and develop it in the direction that the taxpayers want. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
I know it doesn't help you much.
And the rough number I'm looking at is something like a 35% increase. So I think anything more than that, it starts to get really expensive very quickly, but I think 35 is kind of the number I'm looking at to increase either how much more from the rentals, the activity agreement for the contracted programs, or our own in-house programs, looking at all those fees, and then increasing an additional 35 or so.
Basic economic theory. If you have a really high level magic show and it's free, maybe you'll get 400 people. If you charge $100 for that magic show for entrance, maybe you'll only get one person. So where is that middle ground where it's affordable and people from our community come and go, boy, that was great, and it was an affordable activity for us to do? But I know that you can figure that out, and
We've been working back and forth too, so I really didn't want to throw this at the select board because it's hard. It's a hard number to try to figure out. We're going to have to look at like where we're at with revenues and kind of look at that $50,000 amount and, like you said, make it affordable, but not out of reach for the majority of the people.
And you want to be consistent, but I think too, there's a difference. Is this an activity that's a community benefit?
Yes.
You know, if someone came in and said, if you want to have an open gym so every kid in town, when they're on school vacation, can play basketball, we want to make that really affordable.
Yeah.
If someone comes in and says, hey, we're going to have a tournament or we're going to have a private basketball party, it's exclusive. It's not open to the public. We have to make some money.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're finding, the budget that I presented to the select board was trying to be realistic on what I know there is for repairs and normal costs. But as we're finding out, and I shared with you some recent costs, there's lots of hidden gems around the building that are starting to rear its ugly head, and it's starting to really add up. I mean, we're probably talking, there's 3 blower motors that need to be finished at $700 a piece. That's just the motor rebuilt. That doesn't count the labor putting it in. So, I mean, it's just starting to really creep up, and I don't think we're done at this point.
Do you have copies of this for us?
Yes, I have copies of the forms, and
Okay.
what I can distribute those and I can give you guys the stacks here that I printed off slides, but it also has some of the forms I was working on. So I can distribute to you guys.
Anything else for Micah before we move on?
Do you have your colored copy of this pie chart in front of you?
I have it on my yellow paper, but yes, I do have it.
Because I'm looking at the one that we got sent an email, and it shows that 73% were non-residents, not residents.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was.
Let me relook at the numbers on those.
Okay.
And get back to you for sure on that one.
Before you got here, Micah, I was asking for the numbers I've been asking for quite some time. Expenses versus revenue. That was my agreement with the Friends of Rec and the Rec Commission a year ago, or more than a year ago. I've been saying a year for the last few months. I want to see those numbers. I've got people, taxpayers out there that want those numbers, and they keep calling me. I haven't seen them. I don't want to dump it all on you, but Mike said you could work on, and Mike will help you.
And Christine.
And Christine. I got to have those numbers.
Yeah.
By
What this building is costing us every year, or what it has cost us in a year's time, and what you bring in for revenues, whether it's 10% or 20%. I just need to know where we're at.
Yeah. And you want that from the beginning of this fiscal year, from fiscal year?
Well, it would be nice not to have it just 9 months, you know, maybe January 1 to January 1. That way I could go to the taxpayers, this is what the building cost us the last year.
right now, it'd be easier for us to do calendar year.
Calendar year?
Yeah, because we know we have January, now we've ended December, so we have that, a good solid year of that one.
In 12 months of
We're
history,
halfway
12
through the
months of
fiscal year
history.
now.
So it would be easier from January 1 of 2025 to January 1 of 2026.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of looking for.
Yes, because the fiscal year, like things like fuel oil, they don't care about it doesn't care about the fiscal year. When it needs to be filled, it needs to be filled, so I just pick a spot and make sure that I have one heating season involved with it. I'm not gonna give you fake numbers and you get 2 heating seasons in one sitting, and it looks worse than it is, so it's something that it's not gonna be as easy as just printing out the Excel document. We're gonna have to sort some stuff out, but we can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can do that.
And that would put you in a position to answer the questions that you're getting asked.
Yeah.
And then my hope is, again, getting a new registration software up and going for the fall, so that way we have the summer to train on that, and then we can easily give you guys those numbers of revenues breaking down by program types and stuff. It's gonna be a lot easier for us to generate those reports a lot faster.
So they've reviewed a couple of these point-of-sale programs that have this rec programming as you know, it's all included. And we looked at whether it could work at the transfer station, because that's another sore area with reporting accurately. So there's a cost to that, and Michael will come back once they've got which one they want to present to the select board, because there's a cost associated with it. And I don't want to go on farther because I don't know what those costs are yet, and if they're going to be annual and then there's maintenance fees on top of it. Don't really know yet. I don't really know.
Micah, are you having any struggles that we can help you with?
I think the big thing is volunteers. As I had on the open gym schedule, it would have been nice to have more volunteers to be able to help out with those days. So I was not necessarily, over winter break, I was working from every day except for Christmas Day and New Year's Day. It would have been nice to have some volunteers to be able to support that. I also understand that vacations are a little bit different and that we work weird hours, but we're having a lot of trouble getting the volunteer bodies that have been told that are knocking on the door ready to go. So
That's one we can't help you with.
yeah, and we're forming partnerships with friends and where we can, but ultimately, that's probably the big struggle right now. So if people have sources of volunteers, would be great.
Great.
What happens when Micah's here for those events, he might not come in till 11 o'clock in the morning because he has to flex his time around. So when he's not here at 11 o'clock, or not here at 8 o'clock, and people get upset because they can't come in and do something. What I don't want to do is heard rumor about key cards being moved around. I'm like, so they're going to get in here at 8 o'clock somehow, some way, and that's not the right answer either.
Right.
So we have to figure out how to secure the building and get some people to help open up for those events like walkers.
Right.
You know? And not a pickleball person leaves the door open for a bunch of other people. Micah doesn't know they're in here, and if something were to happen to them, we're like, I don't know they're in here, I'm sorry. Not that anything probably would happen, but the first time we let our guard down on that, that's when something will happen.
Yep, I agree.
Any more questions for Micah?
No.
So do you guys want copies of those forms I've been working on, or? Yep.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave them on the table over here for you guys.
Okay.
So I'm interrupting the next section.
All right, thank you, Micah. I
you.
appreciate all the effort you've put in so far, and I know you're not anywhere near done, so.
I gave you a plug earlier. I know you've been working hard.
Thank you. And thank you guys for your support of recreation. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, could I back up for 1 second? Is Jeff still on?
Yes.
Jeff, are you there?
You may not be paying attention, but he's online.
I'm here.
Okay. Same thing to you. Is there anything that the select board can help you with? Is there something you're struggling with that we should know about that we could be helpful?
Nah, it's just the weather, so I think that's maybe beyond.
Yeah, that's beyond us, guys. Okay, I just want to make sure that
No,
we
thank
keep,
you, though.
I want to make sure that this is a two-way conversation.
Does anybody on the select board have a salt mine in their backyard?
Well, we can't legislate the weather, although there's some people in state and federal office that might think they can. All right, so we're gonna move on to the salt shed invoice for electrical. So Jeff, you might as well stay vocal. I'm not sure I totally understand this, so you might wanna tell us what the bottom line is. The invoice amount was over the original estimate, but are they gonna discount the man lift, so it's gonna almost offset that increase, or what's the deal here, Jeff?
That's the gist of it. The invoice or the estimate that came in, there was a little bit of additional work. There was some tariff increase on some cost. And they're reimbursing for a week of the lift that sat idle.
So in essence, what we're going to wind up paying is what we originally planned on, more or less,
To Stubbins, yes.
within a few $100.
Yes, sir.
I believe this puts us over what we had for available monies. So if it does, that means that the money to pay for this is gonna have to come out of the highway budget.
Do you have a quantity, a number?
At this point.
There goes the V-plan.
Yeah, I don't have, I mean, we didn't spend as much on the gates that we budgeted, but the electrical was more.
The additional labor for drilling through the foundation, that's on us?
Yeah, because they got paved and then they couldn't go, they would have dig the pavement up, so they ended up going through the south side wall, the one that faces Hattica's, rather, because when
Weren't they supposed to do this before it was paved?
Yeah, but they ended up getting behind schedule, and the pavers were saying, we can't wait. So they
Okay.
paved it, and then the hole that was put through the building through using PVC from Myron White, that wasn't usable, because it would've had to snake back around. So they ended up, and I was up there when the guys were working on it, and I was like, what are you guys doing? There's already a hole there. And they're like, well, we don't wanna cut through the pavement. Myron said they could've run up over the top with the grounding and all that kind of stuff and done it, but. It was by
But this
then-
is the way it was done, and it's done.
It's done, yeah.
Okay.
But they learned how to, they had to chisel through double rebar too. That wall had double rebar in it, so it made their life a little bit harder, but for us, more expensive. But yeah, it's done.
So what do you want us to do other than be aware of it?
That's over my spending thresholds. Understood what happened and are good with it, and even just the lift itself is over my spending limit, so.
So do we actually have a number to approve? Or should we do some arithmetic here?
It has the final invoice number on here, $16,385.73.
But that's not gonna be the final number because we're discounting the lift, correct?
No, I think that's with it discounted, the way I read it.
So they agreed to deduct $17.50 from the invoice to account for 5 days the lift was idle.
So that's my question, is that the discount on the lift subtracted from the 16,385?
The total from Stubbins is gonna be $14,635.73 after the deduction.
Say that number again, Jeff?
$14,635.73.
So that's less than the original estimate.
You got that written down? 'Cause
I do.
My pen just.
The original estimate was
14,635.73.
$14,824.
That's what we owe Stubbins.
So now the next question is, how much does this put the project over as a total, and that you don't have yet?
I don't have it, yeah, I gotta go back in and add the paving into it, now that I have this number.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that we're gonna have to pay this invoice.
Yeah, no, the work's done. It's just that we're robbing Peter, if it is over, we're gonna have to rob Peter to pay Paul to.
But we can't undo that. This work's done.
Yep.
This is a valid invoice, they should get paid.
Yep.
And it's actually less than the original invoice according to this.
Yes. Someone wanna make a motion? We authorize the town manager to pay this?
Make a motion to authorize the town manager to pay Rob Stubbins Electrical for the sum of $14,635.73 for the salt shed wiring.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pen is garbage. Okay, so we're gonna move on to, where are we? Independence Day, South Street.
Excuse me, do we have to approve the lift rental at the same time?
I didn't think so, but I,
Jeff, did you already submit the PO on just the lift itself? Thought we already paid that.
The PO, yes, I've turned it into penny.
Yeah, I signed that one.
Okay.
I mean, you guys should have seen something, because it's over my
yeah, there's
spending
a,
limit.
Couple meetings ago, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
all right, so we're gonna move on. Where are we? Tree removal. Tree removal. Apparently there's a big ash on Main Street. Scott,
Yep,
this is our tree, no doubt?
yes, this is our land.
Okay,
Yeah, it's at
493 Main Street. It is the last ash tree on Main Street.
What end of Main Street?
Right, almost in front of John Raylan's house.
So it's on the
So
south
this
side of
isn't
the
in a
road.
right-of-way, this is in town-owned property.
Town-owned property.
South side of the road.
Yep.
And it's close to power lines and near
There's
the
a power
sidewalk?
line, there's a telephone line, and I'm not sure whatever else, if it's in service. I've had people make comments, we should then ask the power company about them taking it down, but Green Mountain Power's philosophy now is it's cheaper for them to not take the tree down, let it fall and fix the wire. And that's coming right from the horse's mouth, so.
And you looked at this tree, it needs to come down.
Yes. I had taken a picture in May that showed the tree with leaves, so I knew how much of the tree was dead. And at that point, I would have said 40%. It come to my attention that there are some branches that have fallen on the ground that are in or close to the sidewalk, also a fire hydrant. So at this point in time, it is a hazard. The ash tree isn't gonna come back. There definitely, it's done. And Mike said that they had a price from Raylan for around $2,500. And I had said, protocol is we get 3 estimates. So I got on the phone. Trees Incorporated is no longer in business. Health reasons, so we won't be able to get bids from him. Valancourts and Asplin run together, and they take care of all of Velco and Green Mountain Power, so they won't be available for us to get prices. I called McLeod's. They went on Google Zoom Maps, pulled the tree up, and gave me a phone message, estimated $4,000, which they are always high. There's, I contacted Limwalker, Bear Paw, no response back.
What's the time frame on Lear?
A week to 10 days, it may be even sooner than that. Okay, I know this person.
And you know that they're insured?
Yep, and that paperwork has been sent.
Yeah, the one I handed out to you, the back page is their certificate of insurance.
So, 12, 15 years ago, Bill Lyman and I used to climb with this guy all the time. He's he knows which way is the top of the tree.
Well, if this tree's a hazard and it's on our property,
Mm-hmm.
and it needs to come down, and you've done all your legwork, I would make a
Yeah.
motion that,
There's a picture, if you want to see it, of the tree with leaves on it.
well, you're the tree expert,
Yep.
not me, so.
I probably hung on to this longer than I should have because it's the last ash tree in town.
On Main Street.
Huh?
On Main Street.
Yes, on Main Street.
There's a couple in my yard, but they're not looking good either.
No, yours aren't looking good either, but.
But Scott, did you do the assessment?
Yes.
That form that we had?
Yep.
Okay.
I've got it. And you got a copy of the
You wanna see
quote?
that?
Yeah, I do.
They got it too.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we follow the tree warden's recommendation and have Lear Plowing and Tree Service remove the ash tree for $1,600.
Mike, you wanna pass that down?
I'll second it
So,
for discussion.
okay, when I give out, to do an estimate, I want the bigger wood left behind so we can burn it in our boiler. This is a ash tree that's, a lot of it, you won't even have to split, you can just feed it. So this is a win-win tree. It's not like a
Get a
piece
little
of.
bit back.
Right, it's not like a piece of pine or hemlock's gonna sit up there in a pile, and then we gotta find a way to get rid of it. So,
Well, we can't wait until somebody gets hurt.
the only way I was going towards this when we were talking about other people that take down trees is, it's off the scale right now, what they're charging. And some of them aren't insured.
How
Jeff
big
and
is
I
this
talked
tree?
about this today, so, you
This
know,
guy's the real deal. And how big is this tree at the stump? Roughly?
28 inches.
That's not a bad price then.
No, not at all. He worked for Trees Inc. So,
Any more discussion?
Let's put it behind us.
We have a motion. Did we get a second?
You did.
Oh, that's right. You seconded it for discussion. Okay, no more. Okay, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Get it done, but,
you got the picture of the tree?
yeah, Mary Lee has it.
Put that with that, and I'll give it to you.
He'll be here in 7 to 10 days, you said right. 7 to 10 days he'll be here?
It may be less than that. He said to call him in the morning.
Okay.
Okay. Tell them as long as it's done in 10 days.
As long as it gets done by tomorrow afternoon, we should be good.
Yeah.
2
And
o'clock.
it would split and deliver.
Right,
Yeah.
as long as he brings salt.
Yeah. Don't just stuff it in that big stove up there. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate all the legwork on that. It's too bad about the ash trees, but that's the way it is.
I know.
It's good firewood anyways. Mileage certificate. There's not much discussion here. It's an annual event. We have to do this every year. We approve the mileage. It hasn't changed. Everyone's got a copy?
Yep. Make a motion, we accept the certificate of highway mileage year ending February 10, 2026 as presented with no changes.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There is a, if there's, you have one in the blue folder, right, Dick?
I do.
Okay.
I'll pass that around.
We all got to
And
sign.
that letter that I handed you, would you hand that back to me? The one that I gave you at the beginning of the meeting?
I'll find it.
I gotta put it in this folder.
The letter that you handed.
The one that goes to the school district. Sign that first, then pass on
Okay.
that one.
I'd like to be able to look at that real quick.
Certainly. It's just, we can't leave this room without it going in that blue folder, that's all.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Don't give it to me, cause it'll end up in my pile of stuff and we'll be looking for
Like
it
it
like
just
the
did.
last one.
Like it just
Well, it's
did.
the
right?
one, it's the one to deal with the town, when we made our decision on what our position was on the school board dropping 8th grades or junior high sports.
yeah.
And we all reached an agreement, and that's just verbalizing that to the school board. Thank you.
You want to let these guys, the rest of them see it too? Dick?
You can pass it around, as long as we get it back and go in the blue folder.
Okay.
But it does actually say what we discussed, so.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on. South Street Trestle. This was, Jeff, you're on, right? This was, I'm not sure just where the dust settled on this, as far as numbers.
We had 2 bids that were considerably far apart.
Right, I knew
And we
that.
wanted to make sure that both parties were bidding on the same work scope.
So where did the dust settle on these 2 bids? I read the email that Josh sent us, Mr. Cohen. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes.
I read the email that you sent us, it made sense. And Josh sent us an email stating his position, so I'd like you to reiterate what you think, Josh, or not Josh, Jeff. And we'll go from there.
I've been working, well, it's been going on for a while. I've been working with several contractors, for about a year now, just kind of developing the specs and kind of trying to get everything formal. We had the two bids come in. There was a pretty big difference. We put it out 2 more times to try to get a third bid to kind of, see where we were at. Nothing came in. So we're left with those bids. I had emailed you guys kind of my thoughts on how we should handle the situation. So that's, Josh came in, he's a low bid for sure. I haven't heard anything bad about his work, all good things. I guess, Josh, we've talked some. My concern would be I just want to make sure that you're comfortable with your number, that you're going to make money, and we're not going to see 10 change orders.
I'm plenty comfortable with our number. Like I said in the email, the big unknown is the depth of the trestle footings. We put that exploratory clause in there. The idea is to expose those footings before we actually get to doing the culvert. And that'll give us an idea before we rip up the whole road to replace the culvert, if we have to shore those trestle footings. Give us some time ahead to plan it, so as it can all be done in one, seamless transaction. Instead of ripping up the whole road, finding we have to shore, by the time we get the materials to do that, now the road's been ripped open for 2 weeks longer than it has to be. So, I'm comfortable with my number, and I think we have a good plan on how we would tackle it. So,
I don't have those bids in front of me. You don't have them, do you, Mike?
No.
So, Josh, one of the concerns I had, the high bid was very, very itemized. And I think that your bid just did not include as much detail.
Yep.
So you're included, this is gonna be finished paved when you're done.
No, the bid spec that we were given by the town is handling the paving.
Is that correct?
The only thing that we bought
That's not my understanding. The contractor is to pave it with height to be determined by the town.
I remember that.
So, and the reason for that is that if we raise that pavement under the trestle, we have trucks that won't go under there.
Right, that was one of the big discrepancies, was the Fabian bid it had itemized paving on it. That's why I brought that up.
And Fabian had also included purchasing of the culvert. So they had to resubmit. It didn't change it significantly enough to make them close, but.
Because we already have the culvert.
Yes, sir.
But your bid does not include paving.
It does not include paving. We could look over that bid packet again and see what the exact language in there was, or I'd happily provide a line item for paving. Then you could compare the bids after that. That'd be something to be interested in. But my understanding of it was that the town was going to handle the paving as part of their yearly paving project.
Which I shared with the select board that I'm not gonna propose any paving this year, and save the money so we have 2 years worth of money saved up. But we can't leave this unpaved. So I think it should just be included in the bid packet.
So we need to have Josh get back with Jeff and redo this, is that correct?
To add the paving in.
Yeah, we don't wanna get caught in a bad situation
absolutely.
for either one of
I
us.
appreciate you bringing that up, because, it's an important detail, so, I'd be happy to, include, and if there's any other line items that, you'd like to see, I'm happy to break it out into line items. Just let me know what you're looking for, and I'll break it down for you.
I would say if guardrails are not included, which I can't remember off the top of my head if they are or not, we
I
won't.
believe the language was that if they meet AOT standard, which I believe there was only one section of it that is crumpled up and wouldn't meet current standard from my understanding.
But I think Jeff needs to have a look at that to make sure we know what is still good and what's not, so we understand that we're not replacing all of it. It's only gonna be X amount of sections or whatever.
Do you need to be a part of that meeting, or you think Jeff and Josh can hammered out.
Well, I just wanna know what's going on, because obviously I missed the part about the paving, so I probably should
It's a good catch.
understand what I'm,
It's pretty detailed out in the bid packet. I mean, there's gonna be almost 30 line items of things that are to be done or not to be done. Josh, if you're available tomorrow, we can swing by, we can meet up and go over everything just to get on the same page.
Yes, that sounds good, Jeff. And I may have mixed up when there was bid last spring. I think you guys were handling the paving then, so that may have been where the confusion came. Versus when it was rebid now, I may have changed it, so.
because what's gonna happen?
Yep, no, that's, it definitely has changed multiple times. You know, but let's get on the same page tomorrow and, you know, get another, you know, just make sure you're comfortable and no questions.
Absolutely.
So we're getting pretty close here, to having a plan. But, Josh, we're not gonna have another select board meeting till the 26th of, January.
Okay.
Is that gonna work for your timeline if we don't
Yeah,
actually
like-
tell you, to hire you until then? Is that gonna work for you, or?
Yep, that works. That's no issue there. So.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you know that it's gonna be 2 more weeks before this board meets again.
Okay.
And this board has to either say yes or no.
Yep, absolutely. It's no issue. So.
I think we're zeroing in on a plan here, but we have to do this right.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I also want to make sure you're gonna make money at it, because I know you gotta make a living too.
What's
that, Mike?
I just want Jeff to, told him to let me know what time so I can hear
Okay.
what's being discussed, so I'm not caught off guard with not reading something myself, so.
Yep, good, yeah, I'm sure the three of you guys can hammer that out, and hopefully we can come up with a number that works for everybody, and we'll have a good deal.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
And then we'll finally get that fixed.
Yeah.
I got a couple questions for Josh.
Go ahead.
Josh, can you just touch on who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in business doing this kind of work?
My name is Josh Cohen. From Mount Holly. That's where I run my business out of now.
Okay.
Been in business 5 years. Started doing a lot of municipal and federal work the last 2 or 3 years. At this point, we're about 90% municipal and federal work. So.
What towns have you done a lot of your work in?
We've done Rutland City.
Rutland City?
We did the school stormwater project there this summer. We did the Polteny Elementary School stormwater project this summer. Where else? We've worked in Townsend, Vermont, White River Junction, West Lebanon, New Hampshire. We just finished up a job in Colebrook, Connecticut.
So you're all over?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer to stay local. So, you know, this is nice and close to home for us, but.
Sure.
You know, we'll go anywhere.
What is your official name of your business?
Mountain View Earthworks.
Mountain View Earthworks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How many people do you employ?
4 full-time employees in the summer.
Super.
2 year-round, so.
That's good.
Good, hopefully we can do business.
Maybe we'll have more work for you over the course of the next few years.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Crystal Lake Stormwater Project come out to bid, so.
Yeah, you're younger than we are, so maybe you'll be around to help us out for quite a while.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank
So,
you.
Thanks, appreciate you coming in.
Oh, thank you, and I'll talk to you, Jeff, if you can hear me.
he can hear.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I got you, Josh. If I sent you a text, just hit me up and we'll figure it out.
Okay, you got it, I appreciate it.
all right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you
Thanks
for your
coming
time,
in.
Josh.
Thank you.
So we have a plan.
Perfect.
Independence Day. How much do we want to talk about that today, Mike?
Well, as of this afternoon, I had a call from North Star Fireworks saying, do you want the 3rd or the 5th? They're holding it for us right now, the 3rd and the 5th, because we couldn't get the 4th because of Rutland's. They support Rutland's, that big display they're gonna put on this year. So if the voters approve fireworks as presented on the budget, then we would have money to pay for the fireworks on the 3rd or the 4th, or the 3rd or the 5th.
Where does that leave us if they don't approve it, though?
That's the point, that's the problem, is they're gonna save the date, they're gonna want 50% of it up front, and if we don't know whether the voters are gonna approve this or not, like we don't every year, we kinda go on gut that they're gonna approve it.
But this year, the cost is,
It went from $13,500 last year for 20-minute display to $20,000 this year for a 20-minute display. And I read in the paper that Pulteney, or Fairhaven was not gonna do it, and then Pulteney was questioning about how to fund it, and there was some questions about how they could fundraise and do that kind of stuff. But according to North Star Fireworks, they had not committed to a date. And the 3rd or the 5th, or if you're gonna do it around Independence Day, the 3rd or the 5th is it. I sent a text out to the group that organizes it saying, do you prefer the 3rd or the 5th? And so far it's been the 3rd.
Yeah, I think the 3rd would be a Friday, so that would be a better opportunity. Do we have a venue for it yet, though?
No, well, we have, depending on what the board decides, I think what I heard was that Crystal Beach is definitely not that place, so we don't have anything locked down with the university yet. So it's cart and horse. We don't have a venue, we don't really know what date yet, and we don't know if the voters are going to approve the fireworks.
And when does North Star need to know?
She just said to me today, they're holding that 3rd or the 5th, because I talked to her about 2 weeks ago, but if we don't give her an answer, then she's gonna release those dates to other people.
She's not gonna hold it through our March elections.
No.
So I think we need to get a hold of the college to see if we can secure that venue for the 3rd or the 5th.
So if I can do that and have it back before the board on the 26th, that meeting on the 26th, I'll let North Star Fireworks know that that's the earliest I could let them know, and hopefully we get an answer from the university as well, because this is not holding an election or a meeting. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people that would converge on that campus. The place to set them off is probably, to me, less concerning than all the people are gonna be on that campus. They're gonna want security probably. Like they want one person at the informational meeting. So if you have a couple thousand or whatever, a few hundred people on their campus, they're gonna wanna.
Could be a couple thousand.
I mean, if we're only showing town, if they don't wanna go to Rutland, the only place they're gonna see fireworks on West Side is gonna be Castleton.
They may, they're gonna want help with cleanup and all that too, because it's gonna typically it leaves a mess.
So when does North Star have to have the 50%, Mike? That's my question.
I forgot the date. It's on the contract. We normally pay them 50% once we order the fireworks, and then we pay the other 50% afterwards.
If we had a venue, I'd feel sort of comfortable committing to it.
Cautiously
But without a venue,
optimistic.
I wouldn't at all.
Yeah, by the 26th, I'll find out what like, if you cancel, like, before a certain date.
What's their policy on that?
Policy on that, yeah.
Yeah, let's find
I
out
just
how
can't
much
remember what
risk
it
we
is.
have, and also if they're doing it at the universities, even an option. And I'd be cautiously optimistic that it'd get approved if we present it to the voters. But once again, we have to have a plan before we do that.
College could probably do it and make money on it, charging admission, but that would take a lot of labor.
I guess I'm thinking ahead here. I'm still not getting an answer. When does North Star have to have the 50%?
When we order, so we haven't.
When you order?
I haven't submitted the order yet, Bob, because I haven't told them, yes, the 3rd, and that's the commitment. I signed a form that says, yes, we want to do it on the 3rd, and this is how, then we know how much it costs, and we write them a check for 50%.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is how late can North Star wait? I just heard that they can't wait till our March election.
Correct.
As soon as another town calls up and says, I want the 3rd and I'm ready to send you a check.
So if we decide on the 26th, we have all the information and we can have it on the 3rd, then the 27th, Mike has to write him a check.
Okay, so we got to the 26th. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, I said I will call there tomorrow and say the decision won't be made until the 26th. If she says, I've got some people and I can't wait till the 26th, then.
Okay, so
then
you
we'd
don't
be out.
know.
Right.
You don't know.
No.
Okay.
I don't think you know. If I was North Star, you want the bird in hand, not the one in the bush. So.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, if somebody's got cash right there, you're taking it.
And it's a 250th anniversary of the nation, so fireworks are at a premium.
I understand that, yeah.
And it would not be beyond comprehension that even a private person that owns a house on Lake Winnipesaukee will say, yeah, I'll pay you 20 grand, come on over.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people around that can do that and will do that.
It could be right here in Castleton. The ones that are set off every year on the lake, they spend a lot of money, and if it's not gonna be done at Crystal Beach, they may say, well, we're gonna do one, and they might
Mary Lee might do it. We've been talking about having a big party at her farm.
Yeah, why don't we just do that? We got a venue secured right now.
Charging $25 a piece
And,
for anyone that wants to sit at the
We're
top
gonna
of
have
my
cow
bed.
petting.
I'm just a little leery handing them $10,000 and then the election is 2 weeks later and they vote or say no.
Well, we've been lucky in the past because the money was, because of the timing, the fiscal year starts on July 1st. And we've had money from the previous year, but that got eaten up when the prices go up, so there's no nest egg there.
Okay.
If we had a venue all locked down, I think people would go for it. Of course, again, we are in a year that has a big school tax increase again, and people are cost sensitive. People are also very patriotic, and this is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
That's the only thing that I think saves it right there, is it is such a big milestone right now that.
Okay.
Well, we don't have enough information to make a decision now. Mike knows what he needs to do to get us that information, so we're gonna move on. Concerning the fireworks, sir?
Yeah, just a question. Does it have to be in Castleton? What if you use the Hubbard and Battlefield, for instance? Close,
Not sure about parking there
Battlefield.
either.
I don't think that couple things. I don't think Castleton voters would go for it, but the biggest problem that we had last year, the fireworks were at Crystal Beach, and there were so many people that the roads were clogged and impassable. People would stop right in the middle of the road. So, Route 30 was barely passable. Float Bridge Road, not at all. If there had been a fire or medical emergency on the west side of the float bridge, couldn't have got there. So the police department was very upset about this, rightfully so. The potential for a disaster is huge. So Hubbard and Battlefield is even more remote, narrower roads than Crystal Beach on Route 30. It really becomes a safety hazard. Everybody wants the fireworks, but it's 20 grand and it's a safety hazard.
All right, so we got a plan, we're gonna move on. You said coin drop, just so you know, usually a coin drop for a good cause will net, or gross rather, for the day, 3 to 5K.
So Mike in an Uncle Sam costume with a big hat, with people
gotta
driving
be
by,
like
should be just
3,500.
fine.
And for like 6 days.
Yeah, you're gonna start tomorrow.
24
You're gonna
hours a
start
day.
tomorrow.
We'll put Dick up, put Bob out there.
All right, well, we're gonna move on. We have a plan, we can't do anything more with this. Let's talk about the potluck and Spirit of America.
This was what Tom Hughes had presented to me. What they want to do is they want to read the Declaration of Independence on Independence Day on the Higley House steps. And then he brought to me that handout that showed America's Potluck is on Sunday, July 5th, and then the Spirit of America was on July 8th, and I take that back. On the potluck stuff on the 5th, he was talking about whether or not that could be done in the village, but it wouldn't be in conjunction with the fireworks if they're done, or the parade and all that stuff, if that's gonna happen on the 3rd. Because if we're gonna do the fireworks on the 3rd, we typically do the parade the same day. But he was looking at something to do outside of the actual Independence Day for celebrating the 250th anniversary of the nation. But he said I think on the 8th, because the Declaration wasn't officially publicly read until the 8th, that around the country and territories, they were going to read the Declaration of Independence together. So depending on where it was going to be like Eastern Standard Time. And it would take, he said, 15 minutes or so, but they want to do it right there at the Higley House and have some guest people come in and take sections of reading it, take sections to read it. So that would be on the 8th. He still wants to do that, but I didn't think that the parade on a Wednesday is going to work. So we really can't combine it with the parade. But they do want to do the Spirit of America on the 8th, and the potluck was just one of those things he was talking about. Maybe you could do the parade in conjunction with it and that stuff, but it doesn't sound like Sunday would be a good time for the parade and the fireworks.
So, but if they wanna do this potluck and we can support them with a possible venue, or they could look into, I like the idea of using the college or the university's pavilion if that's even an option. So you could ask, Mr. Hughes to explore that possibility.
Right.
But as far as, authorizing him to use the town green, as long as they do what every other organization does, which set up and clean up their, I have no problem with that. And I don't know that any member of this board would. So, he can go ahead and pursue that and explore it as far as an option, as far as venues.
He did
But
say
at this
that.
point, I don't think the board needs to make any decision on either of these two events tonight, do we?
No, this was just bringing it up, so it's out there on the table right now. That looks like we can't do anything in conjunction with the parade and the fireworks, that's all. But this America's Potluck was supposed to be, like, they want to promote it so all around town, people would have gatherings and have potluck kind of picnics and stuff like that. Not something I'm promoting, or you have to promote. They're gonna have volunteers that probably help do all this
Yeah, it
stuff.
doesn't look like he's asking anything from us, really.
Just the green, if they wanted to do it on the green, have the picnic, like a community picnic on the green, and put some picnic tables there, and,
Yeah, I think we'd all be in favor of that.
But once again, it's still premature to make that decision.
Yep.
So we're gonna move on. Let's talk about snowmobile use on Drake Road. Now, the chief's not available. You did speak to the chief?
I did, because we were talking about the snowmobiles and talking about the ATV on the roads one, and that's for next, he's on the 26th meeting, 26th of the month. So I talked to him about the Drake Road stuff, and his response back was, he didn't have an issue, we're talking 350 feet of roadway, but he said that he would like to see something out there for signs that would state something that there's snowmobiles on the road. But he said he didn't see a problem with 350 feet riding on the snowbanks and the edge of the road.
Well, to make it a little easier, I think I somewhat solved the problem in our 2-week break. If you remember, I mentioned the previous landowner had turned off his property to us. So I begged, borrowed, and stealed with him for a while. And he's permitted us to go through his property again this year. So that's actually a better solution than riding the side of the road, obviously.
Yeah.
I would still like to see the town, say this is okay if we, just in case, because this gentleman is a little history of being temperamental, but it's his property. Yeah.
You're recorded.
Yes, it's not that he was wrong. Some people damaged his property. They probably wasn't snowmobilers because it happened when there was no snow on the ground. And we promised to help out with fixing his gate, which is one of the things was damaged. There was also some garbage left there, so we as a club are gonna police that area a little better to make sure there's no issues. And hope we don't have any, but obviously we can't control everybody.
Well, I don't know your club, but I know most snowmobile clubs do a real good job of taking care of the land that they let people use.
So, we have well over 100 landowners. Mark is one, Lee is one. We work very closely with all of our landowners. Gentleman in New Jersey is, the property that we're using. He was very helpful with saying yes, and allowing us to use his property as an alternate. So, we are very appreciative.
So what you would like from us is a authorization to use it as a fallback if necessary?
Yes, a fallback, yes, if necessary.
Could it be stated on record where that area would be? Because obviously if they're gonna post something, we wanna know where, the police definitely wanna know where it is too. If they're gonna put some signs out there, if it comes to that.
Can you touch on that, Scott? Where
Sure, if
exactly?
you remember the map I provided last time, but it comes out on the property of Matt McClave, is the gentleman from New Jersey, which is right near the corner. It's one landowner in from the sharp corner on Drake Road. And then it goes along Drake Road and then goes into Hart Towers Road.
I would feel comfortable making a motion that we approved that as a backup, provided you conferred with Chief Montello and made sure that you put up signs that were appropriate, that were approved by the chief for 1 year as, on a trial basis.
I could second that.
I'd certainly like to see everyone have access to those trails as long as it's done responsibly and safely.
Okay?
So if the chief of police was on board and we didn't get angry calls from neighbors saying, we got snowmobiles with no mufflers going by the house at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m., then I think it would be great.
I also think.
I don't have a snowmobile anymore, so that can't be me
Can't be you.
nowadays.
I also think that we should state that the signs aren't going to be necessary unless you have to do this alternate method.
Correct.
So you don't need to put signs up.
Although it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a sign closer to Route 30 and one maybe after the corner or just before the sharp corner on Drake Road, a snowmobile crossing, because we still are crossing the road.
Right.
Right by Hart Tower, so,
People go pretty fast through there.
yeah, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to have snowmobile crossing
Well,
signs.
if you want to put the snowmobile crossing signs up, please, feel free to do so, and please do so. But I'm saying that the snowmobiles in the road isn't
Okay.
going to happen unless you need it to.
Correct.
And in that case, there's no warning for that need, that it'll be necessary unless you have to implement this fallback plan.
Okay.
Am I clear?
Yeah,
Look,
there's your B.
no, I've worked with the state before on signs for when we're crossing Route 30. And the state mandates that they provide them. I don't know what the town,
They mandate what?
that they provide the signs and install them. So I can go check with Vast on what the town requirements are. We'd be happy to reimburse the town if it was necessary, but,
We don't really have the manpower or the budget for that.
okay.
I think, I would think if you conferred with the chief and he was happy with what you did, we'd be happy, wouldn't we?
Okay.
Absolutely.
We don't want to
Happy
make
to
it
do so.
cumbersome.
Yep,
We
happy to
just
do
want to
so.
make sure that it's safe and that the neighbors are respected.
Yep.
So we feel free to coordinate with our chief and our town manager and our town highway foreman to have signs installed, but to be clear, we're not going to provide any resource to do that. Okay?
Understood.
But we're more than willing to help you with the logistics to get it done.
All right.
Yeah, I think if
Thank
there's
you for
signs
your help.
existing, and we can hang a snowmobile sign on that, it's our road, so VTrans isn't involved with it, that for that temporary time that we could do that.
And who knows, when you talk to our highway crew, there may be a couple of signs kicking around up there in the barn. You never know.
Okay, I appreciate your help.
You're most welcome.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Take care, Scott. Thank you for coming in.
Does it have to be voted on?
Yeah, get a vote on it, but.
Oh, we haven't called the question yet. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Property value equalization study. So I take this as good news, because what this means is that our education tax rate is going to be divided by 1.9 or 1.39 or 139.91. Is that correct? Where last year it was divided by 0.8 or 0.7.
Correct, because our CLA is closer, but I
Right.
gotta tell you, I'm angry enough to spit nails over this. I know we're talking about 1.6%. We just spent $250,000 because the state wanted us to, and reappraised the entire community. So we would have 2025 fair market value appraisals. And now they're telling us that we're off by 1.6%, so we gotta pay a little bit more. It's like, when does this end? We used an appraisal company that was certified by the state, and they certified the appraisal when we were done, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was a company approved, we paid them a lot of money. When they got done, the state said, this is good, but we want 1.6% more. What's the point of having the appraisal? We should have just not spent the money and paid the higher CLA. I think that we should appeal it.
Can I-
Well, let's start by finding out how the CLA got
So Mary Jo's following up with that. The thing that dragged this down, I saw the numbers, what dragged it down was the the RR2, which is what, 16 acres or less. That was in the 80s, it was like 84 or 86. And all the rest of it was 199, 100 or 100 plus. That one thing dragged us down, and so that means that houses were selling, so if their value, they were selling more than they're valued at.
But did they sell, or are they going off listed prices?
She said they were looking at sales. That's what Mary Jo told me.
Mary Jo's certain of that.
That's what she told me.
Because I know there's the old Dorn Farm. Does everyone know where that is?
I do.
Or you're not old enough to remember that?
I'm not old enough to, not new enough to town, I've only been here 45 years.
Right behind the summer church on
Avalon Beach.
Avalon Beach.
Okay,
The guy was gonna build a winery there.
all right.
That appraised for $575,000, less than $1 million. And it's listed for $3,999,000. Big piece of property. But have we really been selling pieces of property like that are over appraisal?
That's what she's saying, that how they based it. She and Mary Jo was gonna look into that and try to look up some sale prices and see if she comes up with the same assessment that PVR did.
Okay. Mary Jo looks it up and it is what it is. I guess there's no appeal, but to me, it just seems.
After the appraisal, it was like 100 and something, and now it's 98.4. So it did drop. It wasn't at 100, it was over 100.
It was
Right.
1.04 or 104 point something.
I'd like to see that there were sales that justified that, not just potential sales listed.
Because
I haven't seen any big pieces of property that have sold in town.
Gee, I think I better start.
Wait, was this over 16 acres or under 16
I thought
acres?
she said it was 16 acres or less is what I thought
Less.
she said. R2.
So I know last year when this preliminary came in, it was at 1.04.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was adjusted by 0.7 to get 1 point, so our multiplier was, or our divider rather, I gotta use the right word, our divider was over 1.4, it was like 1.41.
It just seems like a case of backward engineering to me, where the state goes, okay, we need $875 million. How do we do the division and make this come out?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the way it's supposed to work. I'm probably all wrong about that. But it just seems like when you jump through all the hoops that we did, it should be 100%.
Well, when Mary Jo comes in on Thursday, I'll talk to her.
Okay.
And, well, maybe she's in tomorrow
Maybe
too?
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the road tomorrow, I may be back in time to talk to her.
She was looking at, when I talked to her last week, she brought this to me and showed me the, before the state one got published, it was a preliminary, and, so I sat down and I said, what does this mean? And so said she was gonna have to look up sales, because that's what she said they based it on.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the 98.4, I was just happy to see the 1.39.
Right. Well, it's because all the appraised values went up, so the CLA dropped, but it should have been exact. That's what we paid for.
It should have been 1.0,
Should have been 1.0.
not 0.984.
At least we haven't even had a town clerk. Have there been any sales? Right?
Well, I'll talk to Mary Jo, and I'll
Okay.
get back to you once I
If-
learn
if
more,
it-
get
if
back to the rest of the
That's what it is,
board.
that's what it is, but I think we should triple check it.
That's why I brought it before you, because I knew that most people would say, we just went through a reappraisal, this should not be dropping below 100% already, but.
Right.
Well, I was surprised to see it below 100%.
In a few years, probably will be, but not now. We just finished it.
And it's just that one area, so that's what, I mean, the good news is, it's one area, but why is what she needs
Yeah.
to help show.
Yeah, we're paying enough.
All right, rec center upgrades.
In the stuff I handed out to everybody that was not in your packet, basically what somewhere. It's an email from Liz McClure. Because I asked her to break down the invoice that I received, and the motors were $703 each after tax. And as I shared, that was not a new motor, that was them being sent out to be rebuilt, and there's 3 more So that bill that we received in the back, $3,706.
Do we need to approve that?
I haven't got the PO right now. And unless Penny slid it in that list, because we were talking about it on Friday. She did slide one of them in there, I'm not sure which one.
Steuben,
Yeah, that was the lighting one, because I told it was before you guys tonight.
avalanche truck, that's it, I only have two.
All right. So, but we just got it, so we still have 30 days to pay it in, so you'll see it on the 26th.
Okay,
That, and then the items that I had discussed with the board about replacing or adding to the building upgrades for the rental. I asked Paul to send me an upgraded bid or quote for the ADA compliant bathroom, because the one that we had was for the one that was in the nurse's office, and that's off the table. It's the one down in the hallway. So I talked to him on, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, but he owes us that still. I sent him a message, I texted him earlier, and I don't think he's texted me back yet. But, so I don't have anything else to share with you. No, I haven't got it back yet. So that's where we're at with those items, those big ticket items, the heat pumps, the bathroom upgrade, and then we've got the heating, the blower motors to fix those. We have 3 rooms that need the 110 volt thermostats, the same ones that have the new motors going in there. And also Efficiency Vermont, waiting to hear back from them on the lighting for the gym, to switch it to LEDs, and what incentives are out there for that. That will drop the electrical costs pretty significantly. And she said it could be anywhere from $0 that the town would pay to $250 a light. But I authorized Jeff to buy some new LEDs for the garage. Those were $400 and something each. And they're about the same size as these. Four bulbs in, or 5 bulbs in each one. And
so what's in that gym, sodium?
yeah, or they're whatever, some fluorescent version, probably sodium. They're not the old style ones, like, the big fat tubes or the skinnier tubes.
Yeah, they use a lot of juice.
And then there was a complaint lodged, not a complaint, a concern lodged about the door that goes out through the gym out to the back by the basketball court, that it was not shutting properly. So Mickey was here today, I was on the phone with him when he was here, and he said it doesn't look like the bottom of it's closing properly, so he was looking at it and see what he could do to fix it. So that got addressed at least, so it's not, if you pulled on it really hard and it'd pop it open. So we're working on that one too. The heating in here, I asked Micah to talk to Paul and Mickey when they're here and find out how come it's so hot in the hallways, and can we turn it down? And I got the whole email string about, I think it's maybe sensors up in where the units are, and so I gotta run that one to ground. But it was like so blazing hot in here. And when we left the last meeting, I wandered around and I could not find a thermostat anywhere. So more to follow on that one, but wasting the fuel so it can be 75 degrees in here isn't the way to go either.
No.
Burns enough fuel as it is.
You go from 45 degrees to 75 now, huh?
Yeah.
No in between.
No, the walkers probably don't walk as long.
It's probably just it's gonna be a process to figure out everything needs to get tuned up in this building, because it went a few years without getting any tune-ups.
Well, the schools in here during the winter, minus their breaks, they were in here every day, weekday, and using all those classrooms. We don't use all those classrooms, so those were able to get turned down, but the hallways and the ones in the bathroom, the locker rooms, it's like hot enough to breed sheep in there. So we're just gonna work with them to figure it out. And if we have to get some cost estimates to get thermostats put in, I'll get some quotes from Paul on that, so we can control it, because being 75 degrees that's crazy. I can hear the fuel gauge going down right now.
Well, the only good news is we're figuring out what the questions are.
Yeah, it's
You
unfortunate.
can't answer the questions if you don't even know they exist.
All right, but that's it, all I had on that stuff.
So let's talk about the town clerk vacancy. The good news is everyone in this room knows, we appointed a town clerk last Thursday night, and the swearing in was Friday, and she started today. It's not full-time, but it's progress, and Joanne's in the office with a smiling face. That was a good thing. And I thanked her for coming back and told her how much we appreciate the help.
Already had business. Jan's first official thing was she answered the phone and said, "Town clerk's office, may I help you?" It's Jan, and he said, "We'd like to come in and do a title search," and she said, "You can come right in." So it's back open.
Nice.
And she was, today, Chief Mantello swore in Joanne as the assistant, and Eric will be in tomorrow.
Nice.
So I think those three women are gonna work well together and do a really good job for the community.
Yeah, they were working, together, hand in glove today, so I think it'll be good.
Well, it's always nice when you got three people that all want to do a good job, all working together.
Did you bring in the paperwork that we have to sign?
You don't have to sign anything.
Oh, I thought we all had to
The
sign
the
it.
assistant one is different than the town clerk one. The only thing, the town clerk, when Jen was sworn in on Friday, you weren't there, so your signature's missing on that.
Yeah, so is that still at the town office?
It's in the town clerk's office, yes.
Okay. I was in there this morning, and they didn't say nothing about it, so.
No, I gave it to him probably around,
I was in there before you were there.
it was like 10:30.
Yeah.
I gave it to him. Because they have to send it to the county clerk's office, that's why I gave it to him.
Okay, so I'll make sure I stop in and sign it.
Tomorrow morning,
Yes.
4:47.
Well, Joanne won't be there tomorrow, neither will Jan, it's just gonna be Erica. She won't know, you have to,
Okay,
and I'm not sure where they put it,
okay,
so.
all right.
What I'm saying is, I wouldn't stop in tomorrow, because I don't know where it is.
Okay.
so.
So at the last meeting, we discussed proposing to ask the voters to change the position of town clerk from elected to appointed. And we asked the town manager to get the verbiage for said article from our attorney, which he has done. And we decided that we wanted it on the warning so that if any of our constituents wanted to weigh in on this decision, they were welcome to do so. So we've all got the verbiage for the article, and it's time for this board to make a decision.
I'm 100% in favor of it. I don't like the idea of the town clerk being elected. I think that it was a good idea 100 years ago, but municipal government is bigger than that. This isn't a town of 100 people. And I like one ship, one captain. I think that Mike has to have final authority over everything that happens in that municipal building, and to have an elected town clerk, could be great. Nedrow is fantastic. But if we have an elected town clerk that doesn't do a good job, we're powerless. She doesn't work for the town manager, she doesn't work for the select board, or that person would not be responsible to any of us. They can do whatever they want, and I think it's never been a problem, but
It leaves the door open for
it
one.
leaves the door open. I think this is a really good time to shut it and say, hey, this is a professional office, and everybody that's there has to be accountable to the town manager.
And my concern to the board is the hours. If someone is elected says, I only want to keep it open for X amount of days or hours, and it's not, because that place is busy through the course of the week. I mean, they close early on Fridays, but with this new outlook, it looks like they'd be open all day on Friday too, because they're just splitting their hours around.
Well, attorneys don't work on Friday, so there's probably not much for records, but you're right, an elected town clerk could say, I'm gonna work Sundays from 2 AM until midnight. That's it. I'm gonna put 20 hours in on Sunday, and that's all I'm working. And that wouldn't serve the community very well.
Make the motion, Mr. Brown, make the motion.
I would make the motion. I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
Yes, remind me, if we put this on the ballot, and someone runs this year, and they get elected, does this go to the next year, or do you kick out who was elected?
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Mike, but my understanding is if the voters approve this article, whoever is sitting in the town clerk's office that has been elected, I don't believe it matters what election, their position ceases to, or their office ceases to exist 45 days after this article is approved. So if somebody shows up and runs for town clerk, either as a write-in or they submit a petition, and they get elected, in 45 days, this board can make a decision to either allow that person to stay in office or replace them with someone else. Am I correct in all this?
That's what I thought, but I wanted,
I got the first part about being elected, and then if the voters approve to move it from an elected to an appointed, then 45 days after the date of the election, their term would end.
Yeah, this board controls the destiny of the town clerk's office from that point forward if this article is approved.
Yeah. But now, if someone were to have a petition and get enough votes to be elected, and the voters do not approve that, then they are
The town clerk.
Then they're town clerk.
Yep. And we live with whatever comes with that.
And that may be the perfect, it might be another Nedra.
It could be awesome, or it could not be awesome with it.
Yeah, so, but I think that, so, do we have a motion? Did we get a second?
I'll second it.
So let me go back to, I gotta write down, who made the
I
motion?
don't think
Mark?
we had a motion.
Oh, you didn't make the motion yet?
No, because I interrupted Mary Lee,
Oh,
so we backed up. I would make a motion that we add a ballot item to this year's election, asking shall the voters of Castleton authorize a select board to appoint a town clerk as provided in 17 VSA 2651 Echo.
I will second that.
There's two motions there, I believe.
yeah, the second one, we can discuss that as a separate item. Yeah, so you got it right. All right. Any more discussion on this item? All in favor? Aye, that is unanimous. So the second one is concerning residency. And I think we should consider that as well, only because what that does is that gives this board the ability to appoint Vermont residents who are not Castleton residents to any appointed town office except for Select Board Justice of the Peace or and like BCA, et cetera. But, so that means that we could appoint the treasurer, let's say, for instance, and wouldn't necessarily have to be a registered voter of Castleton. If there, if there was a vacancy in that office, or the town clerk for that matter. I think if I read the statute in Title 24 correctly, though, if we appoint a town clerk, it does not have to be a resident of Castleton.
Correct.
Now, what about other appointees like the DRB and the Planning Commission and all of those?
That would give us that flexibility. I'm not sure just
You guys
where.
you appoint them anyway, they're not elected.
Yeah, but I don't think they may or may not have residency requirements, because I know we have some non-residents on some of those boards.
Has to
or
be no
have-
more than 50% have to be residents, like the Planning Commission.
What I'm thinking,
And that's in this,
Yeah.
it says not including select boards or justices of the peace, or for boards or commissions that are established by state law and which are required to be composed of a majority of Castleton residents. We just have to be very careful about that moving forward.
And I won't pretend to know what all the rules and parameters are, but say, I'm going to use an example of animal control officer. It may say in state statute that that person has to be a registered voter of the town. This would give us the ability to get someone from Hubbardton or Fairhaven or Poultney if that turned out to be the right thing to do. And who knows, maybe 30 years from now, we're gonna have a district animal control officer, and that person may not reside in any of the towns I just mentioned. who knows? You know, this will give us that flexibility, so I
Or
think that.
probably, there's a good chance we're gonna be looking at a health officer that doesn't live in town.
Yeah.
You know, we may have to find someone that splits their time between several different communities in the same way that Mary Jo does.
And health officer may be like zoning where it doesn't have to be a town resident, I don't know. But I do know this would give us that flexibility if it was.
I don't like it, but I think it's a fact of the world that we live in today.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Chairman, the other thing the board could do, this was the attorney's language, is if you wanted to just hold it to the town clerk, that you could substitute that in there, the town clerk specifically, and leave the other, like justice the peace, and leave those as elected. Just say, it just would cross that stuff out and just say it's the town clerk. Because you might get pushback from people saying library trustees are on the ballot, and we don't want the select board picking the library trustees.
So we could just have it say, shall the voters of Castleton allow the election or appointment of Vermont residents who are not Castleton residents to be elected or appointed to the town clerk's position?
That's what I just think you're gonna have some people that are like justice the peace and the library trustees. I mean, there's nothing, I don't think there's any harm in them being elected officials. They're not like in the office.
We're not asking for permission to appoint justices of the peace or library trustees, they're still voted on.
Right.
So that's actually a non-issue.
Right now, we're just talking about town clerk.
True.
But the language does say in here, not to be elected to appointed positions, not include, oh, say it's not including, okay, I take that back, I'm sorry. Not including, select board or justice of the peace. Okay. But the rest of it, it doesn't say specifically treasurer or a library trustee or that kind of stuff. So there's an exception in there, but it doesn't include all those exceptions.
But and I'm not trying to be just for devil's advocacy's sake here. Let's say there's a vacancy in a justice of the peace. It's our authority to appoint somebody to fill that vacancy until the next election, but not to appoint them in lieu of an election. And that won't change.
Okay. I just think how it's explained, I guess, because someone reads this and thinks the town, I don't want the select board appointing library trustees or whatever, so there might be some questions. That's all I'm saying, is there might be some questions that come up.
I'm not opposed to changing it to specific to the town clerk, because that's what the whole intent of this exercise is, but I'm just thinking, do we really need to?
I don't think so.
Don't think what?
We don't, just what you said.
We don't need to change it.
No.
To present this article to the voters just the way, or just
Way
the
it
way
says.
Merrill wrote it.
Yeah.
Because this was written by our attorney.
Just need to make that not stand out in big letters, so people don't skip past it.
Which one?
The
Not including.
Yeah, so
Yep.
if we can do something so people can see that this does not include.
Yep.
And then Merrill had put an explanation down below that.
Yeah, this we can provide to the voters. I read these explanations, they're quite good.
Anybody that's knows that we've been trying to fill vacancies has been really,
for
really
anything.
challenging.
Yeah, I just did a quick search. It appears to me that the town health officer is supposed to be a resident too. Although the health commissioner of Vermont can make exceptions, and has, for multi-town health districts. But we could end up in that same spot.
So I think we need to leave this article alone,
I would leave it
if we
alone.
decide to put it on the
I
warning.
think that Rob's right. There should be a big, bold capital not, including select boards or justice of pieces.
In just those two categories, just leave those two categories there. Don't add nothing to it.
Just as written.
Yep.
It was written by a very, very, very smart attorney.
And it's quite clear that, so select board members will have to be a resident of Castleton, and that's that.
Pretty sure I won't be able to improve on her work.
We just need to slow
I'm not
people down
qualified.
at that not,
Yeah.
so that they don't skip over it.
Well, the other thing we can do is make sure these explanations, which were very well written, are well publicized, that everyone has a chance to see that.
Maybe have a few extra copies at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'll have plenty of stuff out
The
there. Make sure that-
explanations, just so that if anybody brings it up, grab your.
2 copies for all 12 people.
And if the select
It's
board
only
members want to
14
put out
people
something
this
out
time.
there to explain it, then it'd be, at least it's coming from you.
Yep.
You're making the decision, and that's not my decision. So, at least it would explain the why behind it.
You need a motion, Mr. Chairman.
To include this article in the warning, yes.
Yes.
Do we need to read the whole thing?
No.
I think
I would read at least the first sentence. And then, and quote that, is used.
I would make a motion that we include the article, shall the voters of the town of Castleton allow the election or appointment of Vermont residents who are not Castleton residents to be elected or appointed to the town office, not including select board or justice of the peace, or for boards or commissions that are established by a state law, which are required to be composed of a majority of Castleton residents as provided.
Do I have a second?
second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You struggled a little bit with that one.
Yeah, but we're getting it done.
Yeah?
Okay, now we have to decide, are we gonna do the 3 ballot articles for paving, highway, and fire? We all got the worksheets from Joe or Mike. It tells us what these will cost to the voters. This needs to get disseminated to the voters, perhaps in a more digestible manner. But, so that they know what, what they're voting on. I mean, it looks, the highway reserve increase will cost me $22 a year and change. It's gonna cost Mike, a little over $100 a year because his house was worth millions, but,
I thought he wasn't getting taxed on his
I
house.
say,
oh, that's right, I forgot about that.
you put that out there, so now people are gonna believe that.
That is actual fiction, just so everyone knows.
I like this. I think, the average home in Castleton now appraises for $300,000. So if someone decides that they want to prepare for the future and add to the paving, the highway, and the fire department reserve, they can look and say, okay, my taxes are gonna go up $75.14 a year.
That's
Yep.
all of them.
That's all of them.
That's for all 3
Is it worth
articles.
that, to me, to make sure that our highway department has the equipment they need and the roads are plowed and the roads get paved a little more than they have been and our fire department has the necessary equipment?
That's just the north side of $12 a month. Just so you know.
Well,
Right?
it's
No,
less than
I'm not.
Netflix. Which
No, a
one
little
do you
north
better?
side of $6 a month, right? Am I thinking that right?
$6 and change,
Yeah.
yeah. Bless you.
That, and just so people are hearing this on the outside, that this is just for the 3 additional ballot articles, not the budget increase.
Correct.
Correct.
That's
Which was what
extra.
the question was that was posed a few meetings ago when Bob brought it up, that one of our constituents was concerned. And Bob wanted to know what it was gonna cost.
Yes.
So this should be able to put you in a position to answer those questions, and I've already been asked this too, and I told him that I didn't have exact numbers, but I was about, and I was pretty close when I guessed.
Yeah, we have exact numbers now. Hopefully people will show up at the informational meeting and be informed. And they can make a decision then.
So did we decide that we want to put them all on there?
Well,
That's what we have to do.
That's, I'm 20% of the board, I'm in favor of putting them all 3 on, but I'm not driving this bus, I'm only,
I'm in favor of all 3.
somebody wanna make a motion? Or do we need a motion, Mike, or do you just wanna direct you to do it? I don't know what legality here.
I think, because it's a ballot article, and that's legal, I'd rather have the board make the motion that it got put on there.
Because we will have to subsequently, in either the last meeting in January or the first meeting in February, we have to approve the warning, probably the last meeting in January.
Correct.
And they're still gonna be individual, right?
Yeah, so it'd be individual articles for all 3.
Someone could say, I'm gonna vote for the paving, but not for the fire department.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I would make a motion that we put the additional ballot article on this year's ballot for the paving, fire department, and highway reserve increases.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on this?
I have a question. Am I allowed to ask?
You
Certainly, certainly, Mary.
Hi. My apologies. I have not been following the budget discussion, but has there been any consideration to, similarly, to add money to the reserve fund for the rec building? I believe we voted one in last year, didn't we?
I think they voted to create it, but we didn't put anything in it.
We didn't fund it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so we have it created, and I was wondering if there was any consideration to put some reserve money in it this year. Thank you.
I think that we did discuss it, but I think that there's a real tax sensitivity this year. You know, you saw the increase in the state education fund again, 12%. And, you know, we're not saying that recreation isn't important. And obviously, you were listening, we're spending a lot of money on this building, but I think that we're concerned that people are tax sensitive. And we really wanted to keep the budget as close as possible to last year's, and it is really close. The increases are previous contracts, you know, employee raises, insurance, and so forth. So I know you're disappointed with my answer, but,
Well, I appreciate it, and I understand, I really do. I just think that line of thinking can happen every year, and so I just would ask you respectively to consider maybe putting even a nominal amount in it so that becomes a pattern of putting something in it every year instead of just saying we can't afford it. But that's just my respectful ask for you to consider. Thank you.
no, I get it, but you know, we have been spending a lot of money on the building, doing heating upgrades, and we have to do some upgrades for a tenant so we can hopefully start to get some money back on this building. You know, I don't want you to think that we're not supporting it, because we are.
No, I understand. I just listened to everything.
No, I appreciate it. We appreciate you asking the question, but, you know, it's, the hard thing sitting here is, if we have a budget that's defeated, you know, we're really off the back. You know, the town can't pay its bills, we can't buy the equipment we need, and, we want to make sure that we get a budget that passes and then give the opportunity for people to approve what we think are the next most urgent expenditures.
Right. I guess the last thing I would just say is that because we do vote line by line, people can vote that down if they want. Right?
You're right.
This year, the one that the board approved does have 5,000. Normally, our reserves for the buildings are around $5,000 a year, but these are for the newer buildings because it gives us longer to build up that pool before something has to be replaced. In this case, the $5,000 that was put in there was to upgrade the gym lighting. So we're trying to, there has to be upgrades that need to be made like for the immediate, and then there's the saving for the rainy day. One thing the board could do at a future date is if there's a budget surplus, you could vote to have some of that budget surplus go into the reserve like we did with the salt and sand shed. So there is a possibility in the future to take a little bit more serious amount of money, not just $5,000, and say, let's put $40,000 to that building so that it's a little more meaningful. And then $5,000 a year after that or something might be more impactful rather than starting off at $5,000. And when we know that there's lights that need to be fixed and heating that needs to be fixed, and so, but that's an option for the board, is to take a budget surplus like we did in the past and put it toward a building reserve.
Could you hear that, Mary?
Yes, I did, and I appreciate that very much, Mike.
And I think, you know, next year, if we're not looking at another double-digit increase from the state on the education fund, we could revisit this again. I mean, you're right, that the town voted that in, and that is the desire of the town.
Well, thank you for your consideration, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Mary.
You know, my thoughts on that are, you know, there are some sensitivities with certain members of the community on this building and having it to begin with. And I think that we would be better off if we put a reserve in after a year, or ask for some reserve money after a year where we actually had something to show for what's been done in the building for the year. Not that we haven't done anything, but if we, you know, we talked about having other tenants and stuff, if we can go to town meeting and say, look, you know, we had this X amount of revenue come in this year, you know, we'd like to do some improvements and stuff. You know, would the town be willing to add a little bit to the reserve fund? I think that if the town sees some revenue coming in from the building, they might not be as upset to give a little bit back, would be my opinion on it. If that came out like it was in my head, probably not, but.
No, it makes perfect sense.
It makes sense.
If we have two tenants in here, 2026 is gonna look a lot different than 2025.
That's what I mean, I feel like we've been stalled out here for quite a number of years, and I feel like now we're on like the verge of trying to get something rolling, which is, you know, better late than never, but I think if we can have it rolling and go to the taxpayers, we'll be better off than going to them where we currently sit right now.
I agree. I think the taxpayers feel like they're facing significant headwinds, and I'd like to not make it look more difficult this year.
Broken record, we gotta have those numbers, Mike. We gotta have them. And I don't wanna put it all on you, but
Well, it's gonna.
I guess it's gonna be on
Yeah,
you.
but,
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, me on to lead the charge, I'm not gonna go into Nemrick and
Yeah.
tell them, you know, I'll get the information and put it together, but,
So I did call the question on the 3 articles, right?
yeah. And it was Mark made the motion, Rob seconded.
And I called the question.
I didn't write down a vote, I didn't know if people.
I think that we just need to make sure that, and I honestly don't know how to get it out there so that people will actually read it and pay attention, but, you know, this information where your house is worth, you know, 300,000, you're gonna pay $75 more a year. How to get that out to where people are actually gonna pay attention to it. But, I mean, it's
I
gonna
have
be
some
what it's
thoughts on how
gonna
to
be.
do that. I'll get with Mike or Joe sometime before the town meeting.
If those are wrong, I did those based on the previous spreadsheet. I just zeroed out the numbers on the previous year, so it didn't show what last year's was, because it didn't exist at that
So is
point.
this a separate Excel spreadsheet or is it a big one?
That's different. I took what Joe had created, I made new ones to do the.
Email those to me.
Okay.
And I've got some, you know, I can deal with a small Excel spreadsheet. Some of the big ones that, with all the macros and different tabs and layers, I'm not good at, but this I could handle. And I'll throw something together and toss it to you, Rob, and you get your opinion.
Yeah.
I think I can do a one-page thing that will show people what,
I just think that we really struggle on getting people involved in reading anything or paying attention to
yeah.
anything.
And it's always been my experience that if you can get something on one page,
It's gotta be real simple.
that's
gotta be a
very,
paragraph.
very easy to
Short.
digest.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to read 3 pages.
Yeah, well, I think I can do that, especially if the spreadsheet already exists and all I gotta do is cut and paste. Shouldn't be that hard to do.
God rest your soul, Jim, I know you're probably cringing at this article, but,
He'd have something to say, I'll tell you that right now.
oh, believe me, we had spirited conversations. What's that? Yeah.
Would this be a good time to have a plug that was on PEG TV for our informational town meeting?
No,
Yeah, but
no, the time to do that would be during select board comments.
I don't
Okay.
think you guys have voted yet, though, for both those articles.
We still haven't, no.
We have not called that question, I've been waiting to, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, managers report. Mike, you're up.
I don't have one, just with everything going on, folks, between the whirlwind town clerk thing and then today, I don't have one. And if there's any questions you have about any of the town departments, I probably can answer them for you.
You've been doing a pretty good job of keeping us up to speed.
Yeah, I've been sending a lot of emails to you, so if it's too much, just let me know. But I think it's just, there's a lot of time in between meetings, and this gives you some, I don't know, some granular detail on some of this
Yeah, I
stuff.
appreciate that.
Mike, would you hand that to Mary Lee and ask her to peruse that? And it's what we discussed a couple of meetings ago. In your spare time, like when we're signing warrants or something, Mary Lee, and we'll move on from manager's report to purchase orders. I got 2, Rob.
Excuse me, I would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054441 to Avalanche Truck Service for repairs on engine 6 for the fire department for the sum of $3,008.10.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would make a motion to approve purchase order number 054897 to
Have,
I think it's Rob Stubbins.
Rob Stubbins.
Not Ron Stubbins, Rob Stubbins Electrical for the sum of $14,635.73, and that's for the salt shed power and lighting.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Me too.
Thank you, Rob.
You ready for purchase orders?
I am. You all happy with that, Mary Lee?
Yes.
Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 0112R for the sum of $1,400. Warrant number 0109 for the sum of $53,149.49. Warrant number 0112 for the sum of $59,531.21. Warrant number 1224P for the sum of $20,955.34. Warrant number 1231P for the sum of $20,420.09. And warrant number 0108P for the sum of $20,646.83.
I'll second.
Tired tonight, having a hard time rambling.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are these all included in that? These are what you just gave us tonight.
Is that what you want to discuss?
Oh, yeah, that was, not in there. This was
Remind me to ask Penny the clues. Warrants that are more than one page, if she can staple them together, it would help.
That's what I mean, I've written a lot of
that.
I've written a lot of repair orders. You know, a lot of stuff in this here too. Truck ran, drove with no issues at departure. That seals them. They're
Gonna do the, removal of the tree on there.
I got a feeling I'll be in the town office at least one more time this week. If I can remember to ask her.
Oh, no, that was just that,
Did you do the
quote
diagnostics?
for that,
yeah. So I don't.
that we don't have.
Grab the Winhall
I
tomorrow.
didn't bring it to the board.
See how
I
my
gotta go
leg
down to
likes-
Winhall.
Needs at this
Yeah,
point,
see how my leg likes that.
require a D-block.
Yeah.
Oh, that main entrance door I
We're spending.
put in last year,
Oh,
they're
okay.
finally ready for the final trim. Door
Not
knob,
warranted.
fancy lock and all that stuff. I gotta put that in.
It's because I,
Shit or something.
Yes, that
because I
was,
can.
yep.
This one.
Exactly. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Verified truck ran like crap. Did diagnostic
We're
test found
discussing that.
injectors are bad. Recommend replacing all the injectors.
I think it got
Gauge.
good.
Is this one here, Drew?
Truck from the last.
No,
It's just a big
that's the cover sheet.
Who determines?
You know,
I'm hoping they're right. I know it's an old truck, but
yeah.
Maybe they finally
It's
get to
not
use that 2-year-old
uncommon
truck.
for a 6 liter though. Like, that was around the time. I
got
was
it half a day now
out
once.
three, I think.
Yeah, I know, I heard
I
it
know
broke
most
again.
of those things fell apart.
No,
This
it's,
one's
but
actually
it's
been
supposed to be
pretty-
That's
functional.
not that
It's coming back
uncommon,
tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Shouldn't we know that?
It's still not.
Yeah,
how I would write it up.
Yeah, it's not the way to
Well,
do
a year and a
business.
half.
Yeah. Very
We paid
sad.
for it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But you know how trucks are, you don't get what, you know, you pay for it and then if you don't get to use it for at least, what, a year?
Yeah.
Before it's all set up?
We're self-sustaining.
That's one thing when you're at the dealership and you're doing stuff like under
We haven't talked
warranty.
about that, I don't know where the money's coming
Like
from for
you
that.
have to, you can't just write
Mike didn't bring that up.
Truck didn't run good, I fixed it.
V-plow.
The more
No,
detailed you be,
it's a future, we got
the more
other
the
things that we
dealership will
need to
get paid
that
for
thing.
the
There's
job.
other things that are itching more, and we'll start
Every
them first.
line had a
It'd be nice to
timeline
have
to it, so.
the thing on there.
You know, check
Because we could put a plow
continuity
on
through
one,
circuit
a straight
312,
blade on one, and
you know, red and
plow on
green
another.
wired.
We're getting it done right
Owned
now.
out at .01
Not as
ohms, you know,
efficient as we
pass.
could, but
Yeah.
Anything
there's
you can put
$7,200
down
worth of
on
things
that
that we
paid
need.
them more,
Wait
the
till
more
the winter.
description you have, the
Trucks are
better.
spending-
So you know it was accurate.
Trucks right now.
Correct.
One of our residents was complaining that he had to plow the sidewalk because the town didn't get around to it, just so you know. You probably know which one it is. I'll tell you later. Now is not the time.
You know, they were, it took them a couple of days after that last one, that ice, to get the ice out. I mean, it was just putting sand down on it, right?
Yeah, a storm like that, people have to give a little consideration on that.
I
That
tell
was
them-
just ugly.
You know, I tell them, drive around town and look at business parking lots. Every parking lot I drove by was a bottle. So, I mean, it wasn't just that the town didn't go out and plow roads. I mean, that rain,
There was nothing you could do. I mean, literally it would rain and then it was freezing as it rained. So even like the guys that had salted were having to come back an hour later and salt again.
yeah, it was just weird how it happened. Doesn't usually happen like that.
Yeah. Well, Kevin was telling us how much trouble he was having with some of his jobs.
Yeah.
That's why the gravel roads ended up better than the paved roads, because that stone that we were putting in it was giving still some grip, where
Yeah.
the stuff, when you put salt down and it's 9 degrees,
delivery.
it just coated it over and didn't have time to work.
Well, that was my driveway. I used some sand to throw it around from up there, and the big stuff was all that was left uncovered, and it worked great.
Yeah.
It's a mess now, but whatever, nobody fell, knock on wood.
Yeah, all that small sand went down into the ice as fast as I could throw
Yeah.
it on there, it seemed like. Granted, the ice has got holes in it now, so it might break up quicker, but
I know, I've been doing this 8 years, so I haven't done it for an eternity, but over the years, you're never gonna make everybody happy, and there's always somebody that knows more than you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we listen, but when I tell people, don't take it personal if we don't take your recommendation, because maybe we have something else we wanna do.
Right.
Overall, the goal is to make the road safe. Nobody goes out there saying, you know what, tonight I don't really wanna make the road safe.
That's a really great idea. I just don't think I'm gonna be able to utilize it this year. But thank you.
Mark, we need you to volunteer to run the 1 tons on all the dirt roads every time there's ice.
Okay.
I know you can drive the truck.
Just don't put the
getting
wing
up at 3
down.
o'clock
I
in the
used to be able to.
I'm sure you can remember how. It's like any skill, though, you gotta get the rust off first.
When you first drive the truck with the wing on it, you really need to put yourself in the road and see where your wing is when your tires are on the edge of the center line, because it gives you a good perspective versus, and not every lane is exactly perfect, but I get it. I always tell people, if you could do better, we're hiring. Because
Just let the wing bump off the stuff on the side of the road, you know, you just kind of bump it,
Go slow.
No,
bump
don't
it,
do that,
bump it along there.
my email and my phone blow
Well,
up.
it's kinda like mowing or baling hay, only even less forgiving, right?
I do know how to put chains on. You know, when I was a tractor trailer driver, the dumbest thing I ever did was take a load from Portland, Oregon to Alaska that was going to a very small town. They said, we only deliver in the wintertime. And I said, perfect. I forgot what it paid. At the time, it was tremendous money, like $3 a mile, triple what you got for anything else. Well, none of the bridges were heavy enough for tractor trailers. So they only go up in the wintertime because you have to put chains on and drive around the bridges over the water when it's frozen. I put chains on like 14 times in 8 hours. It's like you drive 2 miles and you had to put chains back.
It's not worth the triple money.
It wasn't worth it, and there's this is the part that I never thought about. There's nothing coming back.
Yeah, empty load, so you're doing it twice, second time's free.
Dirt roads broke both windshields. You know, every time a truck goes by, it's like you're getting shot at.
All right, we're gonna move on now. You got any select board comments, Mark? I know you have at least one.
You wanna take it or you want me to?
Go ahead.
So Rob and I were looking at the same one, the avalanche repair order, and maybe it was Avalanche's mistake, but it says, customer states the truck needs injectors. So we go there and tell the mechanic what it needs, turned out maybe it was right. But if it was wrong, they would have done what we asked them to do, we still would have owed them $3,000. I just think as a matter of course, when you go to a repair shop, you should say, this doesn't run right, we need it repaired. Does that make sense, what I said?
Yes, it does.
Kinda like our
And
wood
it's
chipper.
possible that's what happened, but when you're reading this, it doesn't read that way, so.
Yeah, maybe they wrote it up wrong. But just as a matter of course, we should make sure that,
I can verify, because I heard a different story, so
Yeah.
I'll verify.
could be wrong.
Because Heath talked to me about it and said that they said that needed an injector, so.
Oh, okay, then it's all good.
So that's why, that's the story I heard, so.
Probably it was just written wrong then.
Because they had to get inspected and there was other things, so.
Yep. You know what I'm saying, I just don't wanna
Yeah,
be,
don't tell somebody because they'll do exactly what you tell them, even if it's
Whether
not-
it fixes
if it's
it or not,
needed.
yeah, no, that's how it works.
you owe $3,000, it still runs like shit.
God, my windshield wiper blades aren't clear in the window, next thing you know, $75 windshield wiper blades are put on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mark?
I think that's all I had, let me just
You
check.
should
my
have one
notes.
more. Remember, I put you off on one.
Pardon me?
Okay,
Yep, I do have that one.
or I'd do it for you if you fail. If you fail to remember, I'll do it for you.
Whichever you'd prefer.
Go for it.
I want to make sure that we remind everybody who's watching PEG TV that on Thursday, February 19th at 6 o'clock is the informational town meeting. That's a couple of weeks before the election, and that's planned on purpose, so everyone can come and discuss every item on the ballot and the budget, and we can have a really meaningful discussion, so at the end of that meeting, everyone will have a clear understanding of what they're gonna vote on.
And it allows for people to watch it on the recordings.
Yep, so if people aren't able to make it on Thursday the 19th, they can watch the recording on PEG TV.
Also, they can, the Zoom recording will be available upon request, right?
But if they're not, if Peg's not there, I send it to Rich, I'll send the link to him, or the recording, and then they can put it on
I
there.
mean, someone who is internet savvy and can't
Oh,
watch, they can get, well, if they're internet, they're not gonna get the Zoom link unless they're internet savvy anyways, but, you know, that's another option, is you can get the Zoom link and watch the recording on Zoom instead of PEG TV if you feel more,
It'll be on Zoom also.
if you're happier that way.
Usually I post it, like last year, I posted it 2 times on Front Porch Forum with the link in there, so that, to the Zoom recording, so that it's out there.
Yep. Well, it'd be good if people come in person. I'm pretty sure that Mrs. Harris is gonna bake enough apple pie for everyone that attends in person.
And it gives everybody a little bit of time to digest what they've heard and think it over, and if they do have any questions afterward, they can come to one of us, or maybe they don't like asking questions in public and are a little bit confused, so they can come after and ask us.
Yeah, yep, know that we're all accessible to, make sure people understand what they're voting on.
And Mark will be happy to answer everyone's questions.
I'll do
If I
my
gotta
best.
bake the pies, he's gotta answer the
That's
questions.
what it's only fair.
That's right.
Rob, or is that it, Mark?
That's all I have.
Rob?
I got nothing.
Bob?
Do we need to talk about this, or is it gonna be an executive
Not
session?
at this meeting.
No.
Do we want to talk about the cemetery thing at this meeting?
Micah, do you still have the list of what each of us is supposed to be prepared to discuss at that meeting?
I just made a note on the 26th, because I said last meeting I'll give it to you. I didn't
Okay.
mean this meeting. So on the 26th, it'll be broken down at that point.
Perfect.
Because there's also was a chance that something could have been changed or whatever, but it wouldn't change like how it's divvied up, but I'll have it divvied out by the 26th meeting.
Did you want to speak to this Castleton Hillside Cemetery thing?
I got it, sorry, start over. I gave it to the select board because the accountant sent it to me with some concerns, that there was money left over and they're asking for a
We can
large
share back and forth
appropriation.
whatever we wanna do.
And
I think
maybe,
you can sell it.
Wants to weigh in
is that
on-
normal? Is that, every year, that they're having large surpluses? And if that was the case, then one might ask, do they need as much as they ask for?
I don't see this as a positive thing when they're ending the year with approximately $20,000 less than they started.
Yeah.
That tells me that within 2 years' time, if this trend continues, they're gonna run out of money.
That's kind of what I read from it too, so
Yeah.
I don't really
I'm
know
I don't think this is a.
what you're asking us here.
I'm not asking you anything.
Well,
Okay.
the tough part of that is, you know, they can't really advertise, and thankfully, they can't really increase their business more than is the natural ebb and flow. So I'm guessing that personal expenses are things like mowing the lawn, and that's gonna be consistent year to year, whether they do 1 burial or 50. So the expenses, I think we should be looking at this year over year over year, because the expenses should stay very similar, and the receipts will change by the number of people that pass away and whether they have full burials or cremations.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for I just brought it to your attention because the accountant brought it to my attention, and I'm not sure if you've ever seen this, so.
I've never seen this before.
Not detailed like this,
And I
no.
have big concerns about it.
Well, I'm not, yeah,
My
I,
big concern is I'm vice president of the Cemetery Association in Poultney. We're self-sustaining. The town does not pay. We also send out to all our lot owners a letter once a year asking them for donations. I don't see any donations from anybody here. I think that needs to be thought about.
the other question that occurs to me is, what are the taxes?
Yeah,
I don't know, this was the first time I've seen this, honestly.
that was gonna be my question, but I didn't want to ask a dumb question.
So you must have come into the accounting office and they file it because they're, for record keeping and accounting purposes, but this is the first time I saw it and Joe brought it to my attention and I was like, okay, I'll share it with the board.
And we've got professional services and personal services. I'm assuming the personal services are whoever's mowing the lawn maybe, but that also could be professional services.
And the taxes could be the payroll taxes associated with the wages to mow the lawn, too, I don't know.
No, that's true.
I honestly have no clue.
Shouldn't be that much, but they are exempt from property tax and income tax.
And it's town land.
So,
'Cause-
and what would the professional services be?
That's what I don't know.
I know who I can ask.
Yeah,
I can get some answers.
I know.
Why don't we
I know the
delegate, okay, so
treasurer.
that's Rob's job. Or Bob's job.
I can do that. So what are the questions? What the professional services are? Yep,
And
the whole thing?
taxes.
How,
And taxes?
he's an ass.
where does, how, who generates this, how do they get with these numbers and what?
Oh, no, I know there's a secretary too, yeah.
Yeah,
Is it Phyllis?
Yep.
but you know, what are these numbers? And-
Okay.
And is this a trend that's been going on for years? You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm sure that, you know, you can
Yeah.
talk to the guy who can answer those questions for you. And then, you know, because we don't want, you know, we're not, you know, we want to help, but, you know, we have an interest in making this, seeing this stay successful.
I think probably the board might know about this, some members may. There's a piece of property that's abuts this, that there's a person got buried on there. The town buried somebody on there, and I guess this other property owner there's somebody that got buried on town property. They want to give up the property to the town, and I've asked Mark Corsell to survey it, so that we had something for the assessor and a quick claim deed that we would just pick up that piece of property, and it's just lingered, and they're paying taxes on this, and the town is, their complaint is the town has buried someone on it, for one, so they can't do anything with it. And two, all the plastic baskets and stuff like that have been dumped onto their property, and so they want to give it to the town and not have to pay taxes on it anymore. And I haven't got that survey, and this has been like 3 years now.
I was gonna say, we talked about that a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's just been one of those things that dropped off the table, and then they come in and visit me and say, what's going on? And they're getting a tax bill, and they don't want the tax bill. They're like, we can't use this property. So I have to get to the bottom of this thing, because I owe it to them, and then owe the board an answer on, you know, does the town want to take it over? But it's kind of, to me, it's like almost a moot point, or we should take it over.
Right.
We've been using it. And they can't use it because there's somebody, they have to, what? They have to move them.
Okay, Mary Lee, any select board comments, concerns?
No, that's no concern.
Okay,
So Bob, you're gonna find out about the taxes and professional services?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
action items, that's the first one. Second one is, Mike's gonna send me the spreadsheets for the, tax, the cost for the, reserve accounts, the 3 separate budget articles. Send me one for the budget increase too, if you've got it. You know, for the fourth item.
Yep.
And then I'll see if I can throw something together that makes sense, that we can just have a handout for people to say, this is what this impact really is. Because you look at a 5% budget increase and there's a number of what that, you know, it's $200,000, that'll be roughly 2.5 times one of the reserve account issues. But if we can quantify that and just, you know, and put it out to the public. The other one is, I'll talk to Mary Jo tomorrow or Thursday and see if we can find out why the CLA went from 100 to 98.4 before we ever did anything.
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Okay, that's all I have for action items. Anybody have anything else?
I owe you the breakdown, the articles for the board members.
Yep.
And the expenses for the rec facility and, revenue versus expenses.
Okay,
That should not all be on you, Mike, either. I'm a little irritated at the moment. That should not all be on you,
It won't be on me, but I'm gonna have to spearhead it.
because they all sat out in the audience that night and said, oh, yeah, we'll get those to you.
But they have no way to get the numbers without asking us. That's the only.
Well, yeah, I know, ultimately, it's gonna be you, but they should be stepping in and helping out with that, because
Who is they?
I don't know if it was the rec commission or,
You have no business, they're a different organization. They don't have to tell you where they get their money and how much.
I'm not asking,
Friends are acting.
no, I'm not asking where they get their money. I'm asking the expenses on this building.
that's all.
Because they were after me to take it off the market. I said, okay, I'll agree to do that if I see expenses
And revenue.
and revenue side by side. You know, not every week, but once a quarter. I've yet to see that.
And that's on town staff, that's not on the Friends.
Yeah.
That wasn't my agreement with the town. It was my agreement with them in the
The
audience.
only problem, Bob, is they don't have access to that information, so. We could give it to them and they could put it together, but they're not gonna know that without coming to us, so.
We'll get it.
All right, so we have
That's
to-
fine. It'll be my last time that I make an agreement like that, you know.
Well, I think the
It's
volunteers.
not fair. It's not fair to me, you know.
No, I got a note here, we'll get the numbers and we can show you what you're asking for. I'm just gonna have Micah put it in one of his reports.
We just gotta stay on top of it. That's all.
It should be, if you agree with me, the board, that when Bo was here, Bo mostly did the financial part of it. And then Bo left and John came in and John went to a narrative-based report. And I think there needs to be a hybrid that shows you, even if it's just quarterly, what's coming in and what's going out. And then the rest of the report's just itself. But it shouldn't be big lift to add in revenue and expenditures for every quarter.
Right. Yeah, he should at least be able to come up with the revenue.
And once the report's built, it's not that hard to, update it once a quarter. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think, but what do I know? Do we need an executive session for anything, anyone? I do not.
I do not.
I got nothing.
I'm good, and I will,
9:37.
you know what to
I
do.
make a motion to adjourn at 9:37.